Morning traders, how we doing out there? Who's ready to get things started? It's another bright day and we're looking into the markets wondering what's going to happen here with Jackson Hole. Jerome Powell, the big bad wolf, is coming up to the plate and we're all wondering, will he mention any hint of a rate cut? And will that spark a rally? That's my big question, right? I think we're all going to be watching closely to see what happens, and the market might just be on edge until that moment. So stay tuned. We'll keep you in tune right here, of course, on Trade the Pool. Michael Noss and I are going to keep you guys ready to go, of course, and we'll see what happens if we can rally off of this number. It's been a tough couple of days, of course, with the markets coming down. What was it, 5 down days in the Qs, and now getting a little bounce back like we got yesterday. We were looking that it was starting to slow down, the trickle effect. Out of nowhere, nice little rise. We need to go through the markets, see where the opportunities are, but also understanding that, yes, we are in correction mode right now, and we need to be careful to see what happens here. It's going to be all dependent on Jackson Hole. I think these comments are very vital. Sometimes this is a big event, sometimes it isn't, so we need to be watching to see what happens there. Will the big bad wolf ruin things, or will he maybe spark a rally? Let me know what you think in the chat. I'd love to hear your conversation. We'll take a look into the playbook. We'll take a look into stocks moving out there. We can first start off with, of course, the overall market to see how the market's moving and to see how we're looking. We're already dipping, and that's a sign of concern. So this is where I'm telling you guys that, yeah, just because we started to see a bounce yesterday doesn't mean we got to completely bounce. Here, you guys can take a look here at my chart. You guys can see the action right now as the SPY is starting to pull back off of yesterday's levels. We did get a bounce, but as I thought, that to me felt like a dead cat bounce, right? Where you get this little bounce right back up and you get rejections right at the prior breakdown consolidation area between the 640 and the 638. So if we can't get above that 638 or 640s today, I'm not going to be feeling so bullish. We will see what happens here in the SPY. Will we see a decline? You know, these are all things to be asked, right? We'll be talking about different trades. Let's get to the playbook. Then we can get into more of the watch list action. We'll go through some of the watch lists with the playbook also. So let's kick things off and keep the market moving. You guys out there, let me know one play that's on your radar today to maybe trade to the long or short side. Let me know in the chat. Let's keep it moving. All right, guys, let's take a look at what plays we can be watching this morning. I added some plays that, you know, I'm just looking into the market. I can tell you right now, I don't think too many people have like big edge here, right? And I think that the important part is looking for setups. We will see what we get set up here. Here's a setup that I interesting in, because APLD did not pull back like the other momentum names, right? Momentum names have pulled back, like your Palantir, even SoFi, right, has pulled back a significant amount since that high off of that 25. Now, when you take a look at APLD, what did you really get? You just got a small little pullback, 8% pullback, never broke the 9 EMA. Telling me more and more that the bulls are not letting go of this stock. Now, I want to watch towards the closing action on Wednesday. So the close action was right around that 1505. So I'm going to put a hard line at 15. I think we need to see this hold 15 today. It can maybe undercut it and rally off of that 15, but definitely don't want to see APLD cut 15, and then want to start seeing if this can get the climb right back. If you look at the MACD and the RSI trickled back fast, of course, but it's still in the 60s. It's not oversold. This has a tendency, though, of kind of pulling back off of kind of these 86 on the RSI. So if we can get back there, I'll be a little bit concerned. But for right now, this still leaves room for the blue line to expand right back up and get another lift. So this is my long outlook for the day. There is going to be some shorts and some different plays. I'm mixing it up here in the playbook because I think you need to have different sides right now. Ready to short, ready to long, right? Well, let's go take a look at a short action. Let's go to run here as I'm taking a look at Sun Run. This stock has gotten a nice pop, but as you can see, as of late, every pop has come right back down. Every pop, right back down. Every pop, right back down. So this is when I go crazy when people tell me long solar stocks. Well, do you even look at the charts? That's what I feel like telling them, because these stocks have a tendency of just popping and dropping. And then what happens today? Of course, some more weakness coming from Donald Trump attacking pretty much the solar names and telling him that he's not going to deal with all this action. He's not supporting solar. He's not going to jump on these deals. So I think this is definitely negatively affecting these companies today. Look to see some further downside action come into these solar names. And there's a lot of money managers that were telling me that it was time for TAN, that TAN was going to get going. Well, I can tell you right now, I feel like this is going to come crashing right back down. So run. If it could break the 15, it would not be looking bad for a short back towards 13. Maybe even goes right back towards 12 and 11. So in my eyes, unless technology can get a big rip, these look like they're coming right back down. All right, let's keep things going. We'll take a look at the different action in the market. Let's keep moving. Let's go towards a different play here. What about a safety play, like a defensive play, or maybe a value rotation play, like in Coke? Well, yesterday we did get a little bit of a lift, and then it came back and held. This is important. I actually created this line on July 2nd, so it's not like I just created this line. We were looking for a big breakout in July to see if this would get that nice little lift, right? And we started to get up there on July 2nd. We ran right into that trend line and kind of went away from it. Now we approach it again, this time gapping above it and then now holding it. This is what you call a throwback look. So the throwback look is set up here to grab some stock and get it right back up through Wednesday's close, which is 70.62. So I'm going to put a line there looking for this to break back above that 70.62. And I'm going to actually put 70.80 as an alert. And if it can get above that 70.80s with the market kind of trickling down, I'll be looking for Coke to get that next lift there in, of course, a value rotation. We'll see what happens. It's definitely prime. If it pushes back above the 71s, then maybe get to the 72. We'll see what happens there in Coca-Cola. Pepsi, another one that's been really hot, has pulled back yesterday. Let's see if it catches another little lift there today. Maybe an undercut and rally for Pepsi, and then just a gap and go for Coke. Coke, I just wanted to just kind of take off here, right? Just it's sideways, and right out the gates, I want to see a big push towards 71. I'll even set that alert. We've got that alert set there, and we'll let you know if Coke gets the move. All right, guys, I'll take a look at stocks that you guys are watching in the chat. It's good morning to see you guys all out there. Vic G in the house. What's up? What's up? How we doing out there? Kevin in the house. You know it. You know it. Kevin, you're free. You're free, man. If you're not busy on your other streams, feel free to hop in early. That's not a worry at all. I just cover the markets in the morning. I'm just trying to give you all traders out there a little preview into the market before we get into the good stuff. All right, guys, we'll keep going. We'll take a look around out there. And of course, if you guys didn't catch our trading bot event, I definitely would recommend going to check it out and going into our videos so that you guys can go ahead and catch up with all that. Look for more videos coming out to teach you further on that trading bot style. I'm actually going to be working with Michael Noss during the next month. As we get out of August, I'm going to focus on September being more of that month where I can focus in and try to develop one of these bots myself. So look forward to that, and look forward to Michael Noss teaching me how to do that, right? And he can show you guys the process by teaching me the process, right? So stay tuned for more of that conversation. And Kevin, looking at you, my friend. Hey, and you can also drop a watch list if you guys have any stocks that are on your radar. Let's go through my watch list. Of course, I keep a watch list on the top right, which is the stocks that are hot. Bottom right is a high short interest filter for any names that are ripping in the high short interest names. Normally, I don't even have the bottom right one. I normally just keep it to the top one. And right now, I don't think it's the time to look for these high short interest stocks. So I'm actually going to pull this down to kind of distract myself and get lost in these names. So we'll go through some of my watch list, and in a second, I'll bring on my man Kevin to go through some of the small caps of the day, get you guys ready, because that's what I think is important too, is it's all about preparation, right? Getting ready, knowing what stocks you're looking at in the market. So if I take a look around in the market today, I'm just looking for names that are kind of hanging on and not dropping as fast, right? I don't want to see 40% like pullbacks, right? Because to tell you the truth, those are the names that scare me the most. Those are the names that could just go up and down and chop around like a Palantir, right? A Palantir is a perfect example. The stock went down yesterday about like $10, and then it comes back 19 points, rallies to almost 20 points. But this morning, it's already starting to give it back. This is the kind of concern with different names out there, right? So, of course, we'll see what happens out there with different names. We can run through multiple of these, right? I can do 5-day price trend. So these are the names that are actually holding on versus the names that are dropping. And boy, oh boy, did I miss out on a short on Ethereum up there. It just can't trust the bulls sometimes, man. Everyone was so bullish that day. I should have been going after it and looking for the 50% retracement or the 61.8 to attack on a short. And you guys can see, where did the stock stop at? 61.8. Where did it bounce at? Right around the 50%, right? So right around this area between the 38.2 and the 61.8, the stock is just hanging out. That could be areas to kind of attack. We'll see what happens there in ETHU. And with that being said, same thing has happened in SBET, right back down. And BMNR has been hanging on a little bit by a thread. But something tells me that if this kind of trend continues, we're going to see a nasty downfall. All right, guys, let's go ahead. We can get into some different names there. I just want to tell you guys which ones are actually holding up with the market. APLD is one of those names that I definitely put in that boat. Definitely, that's why it's on my radar. Tempest, another name that has pulled back. It's in healthcare. Healthcare has been getting bounces. FLNC is one name that I'm still keeping on the radar. This one still has a huge gap to fill to the left-hand side. I've been waiting to see if we were going to fill this, right? We'll see if we get up there. It's hanging on. Just needs to get back up above like 850s, 9. Start a trend line approach back up over here to like 850s. And if that happens, we'll be looking better in FLNC. Pony kind of hanging on. There's not much there. Docu, Bull, these just don't look great, guys. And that just tells me more and more. The market just doesn't look awesome right now. We can keep an eye on BE. If BE rips, maybe FLNC can follow that. So that's just a relationship play to follow. Even SQM looks like we might get a little bit further pullback, and this might give me the opportunity to really go for my investment outlook in SQM. SoFi, big pullback. CrowdStrike, yeah, those names have been pulling back. Tesla's one to keep an eye out for. You just got underneath the trend line. With that trend line underneath, will you get the throwback look where it just gets below that trend line and then gives you a nice breakout? So back above 330s, I think, is very important to alert for Tesla to see if you get that next drive there. Lemonade pulling back, LAC, you guys can see it. It's kind of the theme out there on the pullbacks. Even GEV, those nuclear names, have pulled back significantly. SMR did catch a little bit of a bounce yesterday. Of course, I tried to grab it on Tuesday. I got wiped out. And on Wednesday, it finally puts in a hard bottom. We'll see if that's able to hold today. Needs to start driving through 36 if this is going to start to bounce. Of course, this is another one that I tell you that these are the dangerous ones, right? Because this has already pulled back 42%. Yes, 42% down. So a lot of the names and the bulls, they got washed out. So now the new bulls can get in here and maybe get a little bit of a drive going. We'll see what happens on those names. But that's enough on my watch list outlook. We can get into some sunrise conversation, stocks that are moving out there. We're going to get into that. I got no problem. But my man Kevin's already ready to go. So let's bring him on. We can talk about that with the sunrise report, and then we'll get into some small cap area. So let's go ahead. Let's bring on my man Kevin. How we doing this morning? It's good to see you.
Hey, good. Yeah, just dropped the kids off at school.
Hey, that's at least good that you could drop them off, man.
Yeah.
I still hear my young ones out there.
Oh,
yelling,
yeah,
but
you got the twins.
yeah, man. They're only a year and a half, so you could just imagine. And
Yeah.
they're little money Mitches, so you could just imagine just little energy balls just running around, man.
Yeah, you gonna encourage them to be traders?
Oh yeah, you know what's funny is I actually sometimes I don't do too much trading when I'm watching them, but I'll just like kind of take a peek at the chart, and they
Yeah.
love to look at it. Like
Oh, yeah.
the green and the
They're like the
red just
candy
gets
sticks.
their
Oh, I see. Yeah.
vision like
Mhm.
attracted to it. And I don't give him much screen time, so I'm like, the worst thing you could watch is me trade. I mean, it's not moving much, but you guys could take a look. And I'm like, oh, you guys see, this is pattern recognition. You guys, this is a
That's cool. Yeah,
triangle,
dude, we
guys.
need to create a kids series on
Yeah, a
pattern rec a
triangle,
little bit.
dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, my wife has been like straight up every like almost every 2 or 3 weeks. She's like, why don't you do a kids like trading course or a financial course? I'm like, I do want to do
She's
that, but
smart. She's
I
smart.
got to do it the right way. So who knows? Maybe we all come aligned and we start to develop something for the kids out
Yeah.
there to know what
Yeah.
investing is like, right? I mean, it's not easy to teach them, but I also think it's important. And I think it's some things that I would have loved to learn, right? I mean, I remember in 5th grade thinking, oh, I'm going to New York Stock Exchange. I'm going to go be a broker. I'm going to go yell at people. I want to buy that. I want to buy this.
5th grade. You were on it. You knew what you wanted, huh?
Yeah, I knew it back then, but the only thing was how the route, right? How to get there.
Yeah.
That's what I want to give more kids, right? That's what I think it would be more important is how to
Uh-huh.
get there, right? Because I didn't know how to get there. I just knew that's what I wanted, right? It's a whole nother
Yeah,
ball game of
they didn't
learning
teach us
skills.
any courses like this in
Yeah,
school.
yeah, and I was really good at math and really
Mm.
good at that. So I was big on that side of things. I wish they would have been teaching me instead of the how to how to calculate the Pythagorean theorem or
Yeah,
whatever. They should have
yeah.
been teaching me how to calculate VWAPs in school. I,
Exactly, the
I would have been
Pythagorean
loving
theorem,
that.
don't
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah, that slope
Uh,
intercept form I have yet
uh,
to use for stock charts. So
I know. Well,
all right.
as they get older, they'll be able to gauge, like, your days too, like,
Oh, that's
did
true.
daddy have a green or red day, based on when I go downstairs, they
Yeah,
know, they know.
they know. They know the deal.
Ugh,
All right,
yeah.
guys, let's kick things off in the Sunrise Report. We'll get to the small stock watch list coming up here. Kevin will help that out. Let's kick it to the Sunrise Report. All right, guys. So what we want to be talking about today is always about what's the important headlines of the day, right? Well, we're going to be watching all about what happens with the big bad wolf in Jerome Powell. Definitely, will he blow the houses down, or will he finally let the pigs out and let them out? Right? That's what Trump wants. He's part of those pigs. He wants out, and he wants the cutting rates to start happening. That's what we'll be watching. Of course, everyone going to be looking to see what the hell Jerome Powell wants to say. And there's more conversation out there right now that's going on. There was more in the Fed conversation. This one came from, of course, Christopher Waller and Michelle Bowman, right, voted against holding rates steady in the first dual dissent since 1993. But there's also Fed drama with Governor Lisa Cook, right? She's pushing back against calls to resign after unsubstantiated fraud claims. She told critics, I have no intentions of being bullied out. So those kind of conversations are definitely going to put a wrench in Trump's plans about replacing her and hopefully getting these rate cuts to go through, right? So that's what I think will be an important thing. All eyes are on Jerome Powell as Fed fund futures show 80% odds for a September rate cut. And we'll be watching to see if we get any signs that he's willing to do that rate cut, right? Or maybe he tells us he's not. Ooh, that could be definitely the shakeup of the market. We'll see what happens there. Let's go to an earnings stock here. Let's just go to Walmart here. We'll continue the Jackson Hole conversation with Michael Noss when he comes on. But Walmart, of course, earnings coming in here, definitely taking a hit right back down. We'll see if this gets the bounce. I think this is kind of a setup here because it was already kind of making a move up before this because defensive stocks were starting to move higher. Some people classify Walmart as value, some people don't. But the truth is that at the end of the day, it's been going higher and kind of hang in there. And it was looking like it was going to push off this 100. now really coming back down. And this is actually setting up some heavy overhead supply, right? So this is where I start to be a little bit concerned, because every time you come up here, you're just fading away from this kind of breakout that we had in February. So if we can't get above those highs, we might have to start coming back towards support, which could be a move back down into the 90s. And it doesn't mean it's going to 80s, but does leave more room, I think, here for this to decline back into the 90s. And what were the Walmart earnings? Well, the Walmart earnings came in here with a 68-cent adjusted EPS versus a 74-cent estimate. So that's where the miss is. The revenue was at 177.4 versus a 176.16 billion estimate. So the revenues were above. What is this telling me more and more of? Guys, this is what it is. It's, as much as you guys want to believe it or not, this has to do with tariffs. And tariffs are doing what? They're starting to cause what they're supposed to do, which is margin contraction. So once the margins start to contract, that is how you miss on EPS. Remember, earnings per share, right? So if you're going to miss on the earnings per share and you're going to go above on the revenue, there's a reason why. So they're raising the prices, but they're not raising them enough to continue with the margins that they had in the prior quarter. So the margins are going down on the products, but they're making more money. That's the where some people will get confused. How are they making more money? Because each product costs more, but the margins have gone down on that product. So it could have been 50% margins that were being sold at $1, and then now they're being sold at $1.50, but at 44% margins, right? And so this is the kind of balance that a retailer has to go through. And the way I know this is that, guys, if you guys don't know about my past history, I used to manage some of the biggest 7-Elevens in the country. And that's where I really kind of learned this margin contraction game to kind of affect your revenue. And this is the tricks that you can play, right? You can either increase on margins, or you can increase on the price of the product and try to adjust it that way. So what I think is going to be happening is more and more we're going to see what? Prices increase and businesses trying to find a balance between making more money on revenue and also still trying to stay close to that earnings per share, right? Because that affects the valuation outlooks and the earnings outlooks moving forward. Right. So it's interesting, at least. Let me know. I heard this on another show, so I wanted to have some fun with it, see what the chat thinks. What is your favorite rotisserie chicken? Is it from Walmart? Is it from Costco? Is it from Publix? Are you more of a BJ's fan? Who knows, man? Let me know in the chat. What's your favorite rotisserie chicken?
I read one time from Costco that they actually don't make money on it. It's just like a marketing piece to get
Yes.
people in the door.
Yeah, it's like
Very
kind of
smart. Yeah.
how like a Publix will have buy one get one freeze. These are deals that are done a lot of the times with manufacturers and suppliers ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're gonna flip like 5,000 chickens for you daily, but you got to give us at a great price, right? You got to give it to us where we're not going to lose and you're not going to lose. You're happy that you're getting your price, and we're just happy to give our customers something that they can come in for and almost push them in for it because it's so cheap,
So
right?
they lose a few pennies on the chicken, but they make it back in the TVs and everything.
Exactly.
Right.
The margin
Yeah,
game, right?
That
Because a lot of times, what are you trying to get? Foot traffic. That foot traffic increases data, which tells investors everything's okay. All right, guys. So we'll keep moving out of the Walmart conversation, but I think that's an important thing. And the comparable sales were still good. It was at 4.6. So it tells me more and more. And Walmart even raised their full year guidance here. So it tells me more and more, guys. This is more of a battle of tariffs kind of affecting this. And the takeaway, strong demand, resilient consumers, but rising tariffs costs. One-time expenses pressuring the profits. CFO John David said that Walmart keeps prices low with rollbacks, faster imports, and holiday-ready inventory. All right, that's going to be it for that conversation. Of course, everyone looking to see what happens out there. The EU had some conversations, fresh tariff framework. The U.S. will apply either MFN tariffs or 15%, whichever is higher on EU goods. But I mean, we don't get too much more there. There are some exemptions here that I think are very important. Cork, aircraft parts. Boeing got the help out there. I'll tell you that much. So Boeing is one name that I'll give you. Just based on this report, I'd look at Boeing to see if it could start to lift off today. We'll see what happens there. Generic for pharmaceuticals also falling in that, and that could help some names also. All right, guys, other stock movers, I just want to roll through them. Cody is one out there. This plunge, this is disaster stock of the day. Definitely taking a huge hit. Weak guidance for fiscal year 21 in the first half. Management sees a second half recovery from new launches and tariff relief. Still, revenues beat estimate this quarter at $1.25 billion versus $1.2 billion estimate. You see how a lot of these retailers are being able to make the revenue number, but not make that earnings per share number. There's a reason why. That's what we just talked about, guys. All right, that's going to do it for the Sunrise Report. We'll get towards the small cap area, and then we'll bring on also Michael Noss to talk about the overall market. Let's kick the show off, really. I'm going to start the countdown. We'll bring Michael Noss. We'll go to the small caps and talk some macro. Let's get to the action. It's Trade the Pool. Wants 200, baby. You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at. All right, traders, let's get it started. Let's bring on Michael Noss. What's going on? How we doing, Michael? My friend?
Doing good. Is everyone surviving the wicked bear market? What are we now?
Not bear market yet. Correction. It's okay to have corrections, bull.
Corrections 10%. We're down 1%. So we've got a long way to go.
Well, we're talking. There's some bear stocks out there that are definitely out there. Palantir 40% down from the highs, and then a 20%, then a 20-point rally. That just shows you the volatility of this market now. That just trying to.
Is your fart coin? Is that bearish right now, Michael?
Never.
You hit him in the fart.
Never. No, it's actually holding on pretty well, and it goes to all of crypto. Like as long as Solana is holding on, I think a lot of these memes.
It's just like a fart. You just let it go, you know.
Sheep with hat. That's the one that I missed.
Sheep with hat,
really
bro.
Good,
bro, what are we doing? There should just be a hat that has a sheep on it.
Well, this is a sheep wearing a hat, and that's the whole coin.
But where's my hat? I want the hat. You got to sell the hat though. If you get the coin, you get the hat. That's how it should be. But
yeah. So that's up. From its lows here, just a cool 2,500%. That's a nice little.
Well, speaking of high percentage movers, let's get to our high percentage movers this morning. Let's go to Kevin to take a look at some of these high flyers, or maybe a little hangover action. Let's do it.
Love it. Hey, good work, by the way, on your patience with, what was it, GXAI?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Over 10% winner brought to you by, of course, Kevin and the great team.
Yeah, well, that's all you. I mean, you're the one that pressed the button. You had the patience on it. You didn't take it off too early.
I think another thing was, I don't think you do these too often as swing trades, right? And I think it's something to think about long term, exactly. Right? We got to get you to start doing some of these hangover shorts on swings.
Yeah, I think we're going to move in that direction.
We're going to get Kevin on the swing game real quick, Michael. Real quick.
Thank you, Big Milk.
Good.
Hey,
get everyone over there.
Looking great. Appreciate that. I want to preface small cap land real quick by speaking on Thar. RIP to a few people. And of course, some people did really well on it yesterday. It was a
Show us
leading
that chart. Show us that chart while you explain it.
THAR. Yeah, THAR. This one was a trappy name. I saw on X land, a lot of shorts that were being honest, but that were blowing up on this name, frankly. And they may have had they had like decent entries, but the problem is not just the entries, right? It's the exits, it's the position sizing, it's the risk management. So
Mhm.
stepping into today, we're actually seeing quite a few plays popping off in small cap land off of the sympathy that Money Mitch has talked about. And so I want to see which one is going to get the Thar volume and step out of the way. I'd attempted Thar on a short and then stepped out of the way of it. It was the leading play on the day, overcrowded. In fact, I made a couple rules for myself after Thar. I'm like, look, if there's one play in small cap land that has all the attention, it's overcrowded, it creates unpredictability, it's over manipulated. So with that being said, on these kind of plays, I want to size down a bit. And then on the hangover, something that's a little bit more predictable and works more frequently, maybe size up. I know Michael and Mitch have talked about the analogy of playing at the poker table. If this hand is better, I want to apply more risk. Why am I going all in on something that's over manipulated and overcrowded when it's less predictable because of the nature of that? So, guys, human nature, we all have it. We all have flaws. We all get greedy. There's things that we all individually have to work on. Know your uphill battles and don't create downhill habits. So that's Thar. I wanted to preface with that. We'll run through a few. I know, James, you mentioned APM. APM, here's a play from 140 up to 3 right now. So it's up 100%. So I look for the euphoria to short into resistance. Now, some may ask, like, why don't you just take the long, like Thar? Because maybe I have in times past, and as soon as I take the long, an offering comes out, something along those lines, or I take the long, and that's when the elevator's down, which is what I'm looking for. I trade very scared on the long side, which is good. I mean, we should trade scared as soon as I know. Michael Katz had his interview with one of the traders yesterday, and that trader said, I want to be focused on risk every time I'm entering the trade. This was a funded 25K trader. And I agreed with them. Don't loosen the account up because that's going to be dangerous for you. So APM, I know you guys are waiting for this. They did have some fundamentals here. Let's take a look at a few different types of analysis. The New York State approves their APOE genotyping test. It's a bioscience company. APM, if we look left now to predict right, we're going to see some upper wicks. Upper wicks on the past chart history means what? It's going to come down eventually. You don't necessarily want to predict exactly the top. That's where sizing comes in. So again, it's sizing, risk management.
Can you do me a favor, Kevin? You see the maximize box there on the
right here?
Yeah, just hit that. So that way we can see it a little closer there, and then that way we can know exactly what you're looking at there.
You see these upper wicks?
Mm-hmm.
These upper wicks mean what? Sellers are stepping in. It means essentially
drops, right?
By end of day, this thing is coming back down, right? That's what it means for APM. Now, is that a certainty of that happening? No, but it means the edge here is it happens more times than not on this individual ticker. That's the personality of it. Now, certainly we don't want to. Yeah, we don't want to say, oh, this is what's going to happen. So I want to, as more of a short seller that waits for the euphoria and confirmation. We want to wait for confirmation rather than anticipation. I say that sometimes too. Confirmation, guys. I'll repeat it. As my dad say, every teacher has like a tell sign for something that's going to be on the test.
Oh,
yeah. It's like, let me repeat this. Guys, confirmation over anticipation. So that's what gets a lot of shorts in trouble. They try to, they just hit into oblivion saying, oh, this is coming down eventually until it doesn't. And then you get in trouble with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So APM, I'll wait on one of these. There's a few plays popping off. APM's one of them. There's another one. It was SFIX, I believe.
One thing that I point out on that APM, just to kind of add to it, before you get away from that one, I would say also take a look at how the trend lines align, and then also see how each pop is coming down. Like it's not as big, right? Each pop seems to be getting smaller and smaller, And so I'm looking to see, like I just drew a trend line, just seeing it real quick. That could come into play around the $4 spot. So this stock always has a tendency of opening like this, 134, driving through a high, and then, like you said, closing actually below that opening price, right? So I think that's kind of the pattern to look for there. We'll see if we can capture
Great.
APM.
Yeah, and right now too, by the way, she's kind of stair-stepping off of this trend that I just drew, and that's what Thar did yesterday. As a short, I'm looking to avoid the stair steps. That's a sign of health currently on the ticker. I want to see more. Yeah, the stair step I like to avoid. I want to wait for the euphoria where the market orders are coming in. The you can see the candlestick is just like wicking around. So the times and sales are flying. That's why I like to wait for the liquidity sweeps. Yes, thank you, Steph. PTIX, another one, and then we'll send it over to Mr. Michael. PTIX, this one's seeming a little bearish right here, PTIX. Now, they came out with phase 1 news, which I think got a little bit more overhyped than it should have. There's 3 pharmaceutical trials. You got phase 1, 2, and 3. Phase 1 just asks, is the drug safe? And usually you don't see much hype off of that. It's essentially like, have we killed anybody? And PTIX, no, they haven't killed anybody. The drug so far is safe, and then we'll move into the next trial. So that's why this one's, not holding up as much. By the way, we hit the magic 420, the 20-cent area, and we've been pulling in off of that. So, once we get that confirmation over anticipation, I'm going to look for a backside short off of the highs. After we saw what we saw with Thar yesterday, I want to wait for signs of weakness to see. Honestly, look at the volume chart here on Trader Evolution. You see this volume wick right here? This is something I look for as like almost a trend reversal. When you get the most volume in on the day, again, that's like one of the variables for the stars to align that kind of create a more predictable pattern, in my opinion. I'm looking, because you have like the doji star, you might have the highest volume on the day, and then some of the other things I was mentioning. So that's maybe a sign that could be the top there. So I'll be looking for a pop to short this, likely against the 20s, PTIX. Then there's a couple others. Actually, Money Mitch brought up Run, and I really like this play. Run, this is essentially a hangover here, and let's take a look at that chart. RUN over the last few days, last few trading sessions actually has gone sideways and has not been able to break over the 1580s, 90s. So I don't want to steal your thunder here, Money Mitch. You went over this, but I like it. I'm probably going to get involved here on a short. I'd like to see a pop up towards the previous close on RUN. And then fade this one on down as well. We're up from about $10 to $15 over the last few trading sessions. Hasn't been able to make a next leg up. And so we have our clear risk, guys. As traders, as professional traders, what do we want to do? We want to focus risk, not the profit. Focus risk. That's what gets people in trouble. And that's what the funded trader yesterday talked about. Go watch that video if you haven't. But Mr. Michael, what you got?
I was just looking for a leveraged ETF of Walmart, man. We got to get on this. I don't need the leveraged like Ponzi scheme, and I don't need the leveraged quantum computers. I need a leveraged Walmart stock. So just quickly, that's one of the names I'm looking for. The view up to view up fade already triggered here. It took a little bit in my personal account, but again, looking for a little leverage there to see if we can just get a little bit higher. But it doesn't seem to be one. It seemed like maybe trade the retail ETF or something, because gap down, but very anemic gap down doesn't really mean too much. When we look at the market, we bounce kind of right where we thought we would, right? So this purple line, that's that VWAP from this low right here, the last time the bears were wrong. And you can see we came right down into that zone and bounced pretty significantly. So we were only down like 0.5% or something, or even less yesterday. So really just a do nothing day in the market, but big bounce on a lot of these names. And we talk about it all the time. It is the amateurs that open the market and the professionals that close it. And the amateurs sold off everything in the morning, and the professionals came in and said, give me.
I like that.
I'll take that panic from you. The IWM closed pretty much
it wasn't
flat.
The algos? That looked like an algo run to me, not a professional run. But
who runs the algos? Is it the amateurs or is it the professionals?
I don't know. I wouldn't say both. I would say both on that end, but
okay. Well, generally speaking, if you
there's a lot of dumb algos out there, but
a lot of hedge funds and things like that. But
yeah, it definitely got the buy, and it was definitely a kind of like just straight straight offer up, right? You
Yeah,
didn't see much bid
IWM
action.
still at all-time high. We look here at RSP actually at all-time highs, closed almost positive on the day. So your average stock did perfectly fine. It was just the cues, right? So it's large cap tech is having a bad day. Everything else in the market is doing absolutely fantastic. So it's one of those times you look at your portfolio and you say, if you're getting killed right now, you take a deep breath and you go, why am I so weighted to large cap tech? That has been kind of overdone. And we talked about it with positioning for so long. Everyone's been, pounding the table here on it anyway, where we're looking at here is the Russell as short as it's ever been in like the last, 5-6 years. And then they've been long against that with the NASDAQ, right? So again, we'll just go over it. Don't need to pound the table too much. We've been doing a real good job on that. But large cap tech going down, everything else going up. Make sure you're in that everything else, unless you're short, and then you can go down with it. But I was very impressed on the bounce of everything yesterday because we say it again all the time. It's the big guys. The big guys aren't scalping for a couple ticks off the open. That's not what they're doing. They're waiting for all that craziness to be out of the way. Then they flip on their systems. They figure out what's going on, and it looks like we're getting a pretty decent bounce on this one. And then we just got to see what's going to happen here off the open. So I'm still watching the same zone. It's like 635 ish. And that's, I think, right where we are now. Yeah, back to that level. And again, that's the VWAP from the last time here that the Bears got really wrong and overexcited and hit that zone. So I'm interested to see, right? Walmart earnings I was kind of watching that one because that's a little bit of a bellwether. They can really do nothing, right? It's at prices not seen since 2 days ago. Not really a huge gap in either direction. That's one of those that for sure the option sellers won on that game because the expected move was much larger than what we actually got in through there. It's really just a kind of a chill day. We need to see what happens here off the open. If we're looking at the pre-market action, it's just not a whole lot. We're just hanging out inside yesterday's range. So that's step one is you mark the low of yesterday's range, you mark the high of yesterday's range. You don't get too excited until one of these things break. And it could be that neither of them break, right? That's definitely an option, but I'm going to be hanging out here waiting for. Now, my bot, the only things that came through the bot this morning, other than this Walmart trade, are all shorts. So it looks like if any of these trigger, I'll be short the market from a day trading point of view, and then pretty much long from the swing. And then lastly, VIX. No real lift here in VIX. This is not a panic move by any means. If you look at the volatility index at 16, that's still at a very comfortable level. No one's really buying a whole lot of puts against the market. There's no panic happening here at all. It's just kind of, hey, yeah, we're down 1%, right? Some stocks are getting killed, right? Some stocks aren't. Most stocks aren't. So until we see some sort of VIX spike, right, even into maybe the 20s, and that's still a pretty anemic VIX spike, that doesn't make me too excited to buy this dip, that we're not getting any sort of fear here. And at the same time, because most stocks are going up, there's not a dip on most stocks to be had. So I'm still in very much wait and see mode and watching this RSP to see one good push here. And we are at all-time highs for the average stock that exists, not just so make sure, you're not focused on the headline. I just see a lot of fear out there for a market down 1%. It's just crazy.
It's the rates. That's what they're afraid of, right? They're afraid of Jerome Powell ruining the market.
Yeah.
And I think that's the concern here. The biggest thing is that the inflation numbers that came in kind of threw a wrench in the 99% chance of September rate cut, or at least how some people were starting to see it, right? It went real quickly in the 90s, and now it doesn't want to even touch the 90s. That's a telling sign, right? That's a expectation that was pulled away from the market. And then when that happens, that's how you can start this kind of correction mode. And I think that that's part of what is being weighed in by investors now. Will we get the rate cut? Is the rate cut coming? And those are the types of things that are playing in. Also, seasonality is just a normal time for this market to be weak. And that's just normal, right? It's another thing is
When's the weakness starting? Right,
it's
right
the
now
lull.
yeah, that's what I'm. And
It's
that's
a
the other thing.
lull between the earnings season, right? And
So,
I think that's happens always around.
and I think that's an important point, right, is a lot of people say, oh, the market's got to get weak because some of like 2 or 3 of these names are pulling back. It's like sideways is an option, right? It's,
Yeah. It
especially,
can it can be like I'm not calling a bear market here, but correction is still in play, and that's actually a good thing if we go into correction mode. I
well,
think we
yeah,
need a correction mode.
we got a long way for a correction mode.
Yeah.
We got another 9% down to
I
go
think
to
it
get a
definitely could
correction mode,
happen
but
to this next August and September. I think we could see it.
maybe. So
I
we
think
have,
we could see it.
yeah, I've got the Fed rate kind of tool up here. So this is poly market. I'm actually liking this better. It seems more accurate than the Fed fund futures, and we're still pricing in about a 40% chance of 2 cuts this year. If you look at the 1 cut, though, which is this kind of pink line right here, you can see that's what Mitch was talking about, that went from 22% chance to 20% chance. So a little bit of a pullback in potential rate cuts based off yesterday's. And if you really want to YOLO 4 rate cuts or 100 basis points, that's a 4% chance. If you want to go crazy, that's some good money to be
Yeah,
made
I will
there.
take the opposite side of that one. You guys can come and give me your money, please.
You,
Velo,
that's not a
this
really good risk reward, man. That's what you're risking 95 to make 5.
that's like selling options, man. Selling options, bro.
Yes.
That's it. That's what they're doing anyways. That's why they're selling it. Velo is an interesting story here brought up by Big Milkshake because of course Velo is now out on a new company. This is really interesting. This is going to be a good one. I think Michael will have a smile on this one. So Velo, of course, is now a new company, but it wasn't a new company. It was already out. It was out before, right? And for those that know this story, you'll kind of catch that information, of course. So Velo is coming out here, but essentially it was already out as a SPAC. It was delisted in the New York Stock Exchange on September 2024 due to compliance issue, and it was trading on the OTC market for a while under VLDX, and now it's coming back to the public offering here, raising another 17.5 million shares at $3 a share. So they said, we sold it to you once. We want to sell it to you again. Do you want to buy it? So here it is, guys. This is a company that went off the markets, now coming back. Right.
Look at that chart. Whew.
And something to look at, right? Like you shouldn't have price action to the left. If you do, it's a little bit weird. But this is going to be an interesting one because it could just all of a sudden spike, right? I mean, I don't know why I don't believe in the fundamentals here, but of course, this is also an important one. Why? Because it's one of the major producers for 3D parts for SpaceX. That's why I always liked it in the first place when it first came out as a SPAC. I was like, oh, it's attached to SpaceX? Wow, I want this. But it's also not been the craziest area, right? 3D printing is just not taking off like many expected.
Yeah, then they just had some news too. They're partnering with the U.S. Navy as well for 3D printing of their ship components. That was the 9 a.m. PR.
Yeah, so we got to keep a watch on this. This could get moving, right? I mean,
so you don't need to be a CMT to look at this and say, maybe. All right, day trades, swing trades, but from a high of $10,000.
But this is a different stock now. I wouldn't chart it that way. It shouldn't be charted on the same chart. At least that's the way I feel.
Didn't restructure. It's not the same company.
It's not
with
the same
management,
company.
Same
it's not the same.
flow.
But in my eyes, when it came off and it delisted, and it's opening up as a brand new ticker, a new offering, should it still trade on the same chart, Michael?
Well, you should know that. Yeah, you should see the price action and see if everyone got wiped out and lost all of their money. Then yeah, maybe. If those people are still holding from $19 after it got delisted, I don't know. Depends what happened to the equity when they delisted. Did it get wiped out at zero?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah. This is an interesting story.
If you got wiped out at zero, because it's like what GM. A lot of people forget that GM went bankrupt, and all the equity holders got wiped out, but they kept when they relaunched it. Right, you can see this is the new chart because they said everyone who existed in GM before lost all your money. So sorry. And now it's back. So depending on
So
that's what I really think happens. Because we got to remember what we're doing with charts is we're looking to see where people exist in the chart.
oh
And if
yeah.
there's a bunch of people still holding here from 19, I think you keep the listing.
Yep. So it looks like through the court system, this was shifted over. So if you previously held shares on their VLDX, your holdings are now transitioned to the Velo ticker. So there it is. There's the slight information deeper into the PR to kind of take a look at it, right? But if you look up Velo, you won't see that. And if you look up VLDX, does that even come up? It comes up as a warrant. That's interesting. A warrant that's off the board.
So just be careful. This screams like Mullen to me. Right?
Yeah, it's interesting. At
uh,
least I'll just say, put it this way: definitely not going to swing trade this, but if it just all of a sudden starts getting a whole bunch of volume, I might ride the trash. I mean, this is definitely just jumping on the back of the dumpster truck when it's coming by your house, and then just saying you want to go for a spin. You know what I mean? But hey, if the dumpster truck is for you today, hey, jump on the dumpster truck, man. I can't blame you. Big Milkshake. Thanks for bringing it up, though, because I think
Yes,
it was
sir.
an interesting story.
Yeah, very
in the
interesting
market.
ticker. I want to go over one more hangover before
Let's do it. We got
open up
5
real
minutes.
quick,
What you
guys.
got for me, Kevin?
LASE yesterday was a good one. I just want to bring up pattern recognition. I know we took GXAI the other day. So LASE was a great one. Look at this. I mean, we popped right up to the previous close in yesterday's session. And then it just faded off from there all the way down to 320. Now we want to find another one of those today. NBY is the closest I got to that. Now, this is a very cheap play. So some of you may not like that, but we're hanging over right now. Previous close about $1.03. A lot of consolidation. I love what Michael said about look and see where the traders are in the chart. Well, you can clearly see where's all the action on NBY here is right in this consolidation 1 to 105.10, and we're opening up right below that, which is great. We should see some. We're not getting that continued momentum on it, so we should see some profit taking and fade with NBY. Now it's a tricky one. With because you got with these cheap ones, you get we got to get the 10 cents with TTP. So bear that in mind. We could look for a pop out of the gate on NBY. But guys, today, because of Thar yesterday, I'm going to be sitting back and just letting the trades come to me versus forcing any trades. Forcing the action, like Michael's fart coin. If you force a fart, bad things can
That's
happen.
my chart.
Right.
Well, that's where butthole coin comes from, because there is a butthole. And
So you pick up some butthole coin with the Shiba, and
it's funny because if you go to their website for butthole coin, which obviously don't do if you're at work, it just says you can't have a fart without a butthole, and that's like the whole premise of the coin. So yeah, meme coins are insanity to me, but I like and I did a tweet about this, and it started a conversation. I love the mask off nature. Like, no one's pretending that it's like Mullen is a perfect example. They're robbing you, but they're pretending that there's like evil shorts that are market makers are manipulating, like they feed all this. It's like, okay, you buy fart coin because it's funny, and if enough people buy it, number go up, right? There's a very mask off nature to it that I like, and that's why I think a lot of these coins move so technically sound, is because there's nothing to them. It's
yeah,
all,
you can't be like, oh no, the fundamentals of your shark coin.
Yeah, like it's pure supply and demand, and it's
just,
raw.
do you want to buy it or do you want to sell it? And how many people want to be a part of that ride, right?
Yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Run will be an interesting one. I see you looking at that one, Kevin. I will be looking at solar stocks to drop as Trump came out and was just like, why the hell are solar stocks up? Well, I'm just going to go out there and poo-poo them real quick. And the worst part is there were so many fund managers. I started talking. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, how so many people were pitching solar stocks. I was like, really? In this environment, in this administration, you want to go and tell your clients that you want solar stocks. That makes no sense.
Well, they did great last time he was in. What didn't it? Do I remember that right?
That makes no sense to me, at least. But
So
hey,
what did
hey,
Dan
to
do?
each his
Yeah,
own. Oh,
2000.
speaking of it, Velo's already ripping, guys. We're almost to 4 here. So just keep it on the
Yeah,
radar. It's
solar
starting to move.
stocks tripled under the last Trump administration.
I guess they don't know Trump this time around.
And then, well,
Hey.
since since April, they're up. Actually, and more when I look at this chart, since April, they're up. Just looking at the TAN ETF, they've almost
But
doubled.
this is seasonality, guys. If you look at the charts, I've talked about this in the past. Solar stocks have a tendency of coming up in August and September. It's just a seasonal chart thing. It has nothing to do with the administration
3,
actually supporting
2,
this trade.
1.
But
Ding,
we'll see
ding,
what
ding.
happens.
Yeah.
Let's get after it, traders.
August, September, October, is the worst seasonality for the solar ETF, with July, June, and May being the best here. I'm liking this little widget. I'll show you guys. I'm liking this little widget a little bit more and more. Where you just bring up the chart and it just shows you the seasonality of whatever it is that you're looking at here. So just looking at the SPY right off the jump here, and still nothing, right? So this is the idea, is you've got these two white lines. That's yesterday's low, that's yesterday's high. While we're inside this, I think you're very much a buy the dip, sell the rip, fade this, fade that. That's the type of thing that I'm looking to do. And then if we get out of that range, that's where things get really interesting. And again, the only trade that the bot is showing from the long side is this Walmart, which is just selling a little bit right off the open. So we need to see that back through VWAP. I turn this one. What is it? This one here. Right. So this has to come back here up through VWAP, and then I'd be interested. If not, there's really nothing for me to do.
Guys, I'm trying to get an entry on Run. It is profit taking right now. I hate chasing these down, but yeah, Run looking good so far. Week.
Yeah. The Trump trade, man. I mean, just giving it to him right out the gates. Run straight down.
Well, and yeah, I think you called it right with profit taking too. Like, this thing's been on a run,
right?
Pun intended, where it's doubled now in just like 2 weeks. So you got to look at it. If you say, man, I've just doubled my money off the low in this thing in 2 weeks, at some point you're going to go, okay, give me any excuse to take some of that. But
I love what you said with finding the traders in the chart. You got to know where everybody else is. Be cautious when on the side of the majority.
The solar stocks have been a sell since 2021. At least this run for sure. I mean, every pop gets sold into. Every single one. It's like buying cannabis stocks.
It's So 50% in 2 days. I like the look of it. It's finally breaking down this base, and then what you do, might want to do that that kind of 50% move that we talk, or Steve talks about all the time.
Quick jump in the VIX.
Like that makes
what happens.
Yeah, I got to fill, guys. I'm just gonna. It's going to be like a $75 risk trade. I'm going to give it back up towards the previous close. On RUN. Guys, I mean, yesterday taught me something that less is certainly more. I mean, you watch some of these guys that, man, they find their high conviction trade, they size it, that pocket ace hand, and do very well on it versus just, I have an internal conflict, because I was like, repetition is more when you have your edge. But with certain trades that you're highly convicted on, it's like it's not a bad idea to size them.
Yeah, that run was it, man. That was a good
I agree. Good call.
Just that this is the part of sometimes where like I line up the show, I get to the bell, and I'm just not ready to go.
I get it.
This is just part of it, and I need to get a little bit better at getting ready right before the bell. This thing is dropping right out the gates.
You commentate. You got the sunrise report. There's a lot.
It's just a part of it. EMPH is still around. That's one name that I can maybe take a look at. I'll still look at those names. TAN is another way to kind of just short the whole sector, or the whole like industry. That's one way that I'll be looking at. Also getting after these solar names.
PTIX. I'm like I said, on these names, I'm going to size real small and give them a decent amount of wiggle room here. PTIX was on the phase 1 trials. It's popping up towards its pre-market resistance at 420. I'm going to go ahead and set the stop on this. I'm going to give it a little bit more room over that. And then RUN looking good. Man, that one, see, this one's maybe not a bad idea to even, we got the confirmation here. This is looking real nice. And I agree with Money Mitch on this. We could see this profit take down to probably. I mean, look where we got with these longs. We got them from 15 to 16. We could see this profit take down to even 13.50 or lower.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I actually just drew out a fib, and the 50% point of that last move from 10 to 16 in a straight line, like that big day, the 50% point is 13.52. So that would line up perfectly with your thinking there.
Okay.
That's just the 50% point of, just that last run that you're seeing there in your chart, not even from lows, just from that 10 to what it had 2 days where it went from 10 to 16.
Perfect fall. Good call there. Thar halted down. That was yesterday's big mover.
Oh, we should have gone after that bad boy. But I was looking for a pop above the trend line. That's my thing for Kevin. Kevin, were you looking at that one?
I was kind of just like, I don't want to.
You didn't want to leave it alone?
Yeah.
So this is the way I had it drawn out. So I had it drawn out already on this trend line. So the way that I see it is that's one move, two moves, three moves. I was looking for that fourth fail. It could have been this pre-market one where it kind of jumped to 584s, but I was looking for one more attempt to 6 to fail, and then I would be all for it, right? Because then it does that fourth attempt, then fail.
Yeah. You've mentioned that a few times, and I
I'm
think
telling
there's
you,
truth
man.
to that.
I look for it all the time.
That third, fourth, fifth knock, yeah.
So because the thing is that you're either going to get a huge ramp up or the breakdown. That's my thing. You're on that kind of make it or break it spot. And it's part of the wave structure, the way that waves work, right? It has everything to do with more Dow theory and kind of getting into that mentality, right? If you guys want to start looking into that, that's really advanced stuff, but you can. All right, we'll just keep moving, guys. Looking around out there, run now down to 1442. So that's just put that one in the miss, and in the miss pile, and then look around. Look at this, straight a sea of blood, sea of blood out the gates there, guys. Sea of blood.
Yeah, down halt for VELO. Chat's pointing out, so that one is it just again feels like a bit of a mullen, and we are seeing a little bit more participation. So the rotation's changing here, where we're getting the Qs actually at the high of the day, and then we're getting the Dow down a little bit, RSP down a little bit. So pretty much the opposite of what we've seen the last few days, where this seems like it's big cap tech's revenge, I guess, where it's trying to hold on, right? We've got the Qs only down 0.2%, and then we have the Dow down 0.5%, and we have the small caps down 0.5%. So the opposite of what we've seen the last few days, where this is the day that maybe you want to go over after those names in the Qs, like an NVIDIA or something, as we're breaking as I speak. Yeah, NVIDIA is ripping here. We have Apple, going well. So SMH is ripping into new highs, breaking the high of yesterday's. Palantir's holding up. Just complete opposite of what we saw yesterday, where we're trying to flip back to green here on the Qs, where the rest of the major indices are still hanging out in pretty red territory.
Yeah, everything's down, at least from right now. We'll see if something can leak into the green. I took a Coke trade here off the 70.58, looking for this to break through 71. It was part of my playbook, so I'm just trying to at least abide by one of those trades. Run would have definitely worked out. Now down to 14.28. Oh, good Lord. That 15 short. That 15 short was a look. I mean, it was dead on the playbook. I mean, literally couldn't put it better on the playbook. So I hope somebody out there saw the playbook this morning. Literally. And did it do a green to red? I tried, right? I think If I went to the 1, let's go to the 1. Did it do the green to red? No, it just went straight red out the gates. Literally, just right before it tried to pop the 5.
Yeah, that's why I
217.
like to throw with the hangovers like that. I like to throw a feeler on them because so often, and you can even see with another ticker this morning, it was a hangover in NBR. They just sometimes they just snap. So just throw in something on it to get a piece, and then sizing into it if one's confirming.
APM looking a little toppy, but we'll see what happens on that one. Trading between there. PTIX got above 4. Looks like a cup and handle attempt off of the 4. We'll see if it fails. Definitely cup and handle look. And then have some Coke here, trying to get this to break out to 71. We'll see if we get some defensive names to kind of push. Defensive names are down out the gate, so I'm looking for supports and for recoveries off the supports.
Yeah, PTIX after that sell-off right there, I'm monitoring it. I'd like it to stay heavy against the highs now. If I'm still with this one, but I'm considering hitting it again against the consolidation zone that we were just in the 450s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm considering
Also
hitting it again.
remember, right, we have flash PMI in 5 minutes. So, not the biggest number in the world, but certainly not nothing. So we could see a little bit of a movement there off of that. Watching Walmart, it's basing right below VWAP. So that's what I want to see, something move. So far, no trades. Nothing's happened from the bot, and I'm being patient. I'm being a good boy. But looking at just the overall market, again, we got the Qs really kind of beating the pants off of everything. Pretty much most indices bounced here a little bit off the open, but 5 minutes till PMI, and so until then, I'm not really interested in any of this stuff. Let's see what happens after that.
I'm trying to ride this Coke trade, guys. I'm up about $50 now, starting to really lift here. Let's go.
AEMD's given a little pop as well towards pre-market resistance. Be mindful of that, traders.
Yeah, I see that starting to pop towards the 183. Doesn't look too bad there. Nice reload off of the liquidity pattern on 160. So you did get that liquidity pattern. Now I'd like to start seeing 170s hold on this. So at least you have about 10-cent risk there on that AMD. We'll see if we get that run. For me now, it's a scary one. I always think that solar is kind of more of that momentum trade where you got to go with it quick and then it gets a little choppy. So I'd be looking at maybe some different names on the bounce, but I'm going to be watching to see what happens out here. Watch list wise, leading the market today in my watch list stocks that are hot. Tempest right back to hot. APLD, I talked about how that name just kept holding on. It was on the watch list, looking for a move through 16. It's actually doing really well already. So we'll see what happens on this setup. APLD looking really well for a move to 16. Look at the daily chart. Is that a weak chart? Not much weakness there when the market pulled back. So that's why I like APLD today. Put it on the playlist. We'll see if it breaks 16. I'm doing really well in Coke, so I'm probably not going to take this APLD trade. But hey, doing really well. Let's keep going after it. Let's see if we can nail this Coca-Cola and go get a Coke on them. Warren Buffett, come on, let's go. Drink that Coke, baby. Drink that Coke, Warren.
That's what changed since. There we go.
Pepsi, can it get the lip? Celsius kept going yesterday. I think today it might fall. I tried to short it twice yesterday and then got hit on it. So you know how that one works out, right? You try it twice, and then now it might be the day that this thing starts to fall. I'm looking for Celsius to maybe start doing that declining action.
A quick look here, just the heat map, right? So we got uranium, NLR. So these are both nuclear names doing well. We have natural gas doing well. Bitcoin up a bit. We have aerospace and defense. We have China doing well. And then to the downside, we have a little bit of pullback in MSOS and TAN, the solar ETF. But mostly everything is kind of within that up or down 1% area as things look pretty chill here. So we got 2 minutes until that number. So I'm going to keep a close eye here on the SPY, which you can see from the open has done absolutely nothing. like not a thing. Where it's
It's
just drop
weird though,
back and
because
forth.
at least the sectors are definitely lagging. There's only one sector in the green from the open. That's utilities. Everything else red from the open here. We'll see what happens, but it doesn't even look good. I'm even trading defensive names that are leading the downside, and still I'm getting an up move. So it's a mixed market. It's a mixed market there.
Well, and
Overall
it's
sector is still pointing red.
the cool thing. It's the reverse of what we saw, like totally, where
Yeah.
we have right. XLK is doing way better than, which is technology. For those who don't follow, than XLV and XLF. XLF is falling, so that's the thing that's really weighing us down. Is we have financials moving lower, where if you take a look, yeah, utilities are doing okay, but then if you look at XLK, it's just sitting right on its opening price, give or take a couple ticks, and you can see that in the Qs. Right, the Qs are uh, pretty much above their opening price, and from these major ETFs are doing the best. Right, the Dow is down 0.6, and then everything else is down like 0.3. So we're getting a little bit of a pullback in the Dow, and that's probably caused mostly by financials. So there's our number. And the initial reaction to it is not ideal. We're getting a little bit of a pullback there, and we'll see if the lows hold. So whatever flash PMI was does not look like we like it here. So we're getting a pullback here in the overall market. The Q's not quite at lows, holding up a little bit better. We have the RSP. That one's pushing. So yeah, very much a flip of what's happening here, right? Small caps getting hammered with whatever that is. So PMI makes me think inflation. So probably more inflation than we thought. This would be my initial guess, but let's see what happens after the initial craziness. New lows of the day for the SPY.
Gold, silver, coal areas looking basic materials. I like this METC chart today. I just need to see a pullback back to 21.
Gold had a pretty nasty move. XLB is a good materials ETF to take a look at. It's still above lows, which is better than we can say for the SPY. Now we have the Dow's down 0.75% and the Q's down 0.5%. So yeah, the initial reaction to whatever this, right? Again, I'm not the guy. I don't know. Whatever this number was, they didn't like. And that is pretty much it for today. We have existing home sales at 11, but I don't think that'll make that big of a deal. So my bet is this inflation came in a little bit hot for some people.
Guys, APM, I'm going to take a stab at it. PTIX, I took it off. I'll show you the chart real quick.
Oh, you're not tripping it. That one there. Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, all good.
So many buttons.
Yeah, I noticed a little trappy action there, so I took it off for 30s. I'm going to avoid it right now. This is so APM is the one that I thought was going to do the PTIX. Well, PTIX is getting overcrowded, so now I'm just going to flip, to the other name and take a short here on APM where we're looking heavy against VWAP in the 280s. So I'm still working run. And APM right now, APM I may take piece off if we flush down here under the 40s. Again, this is just the nature of small cap land. I know Josh has pointed that out before. It's mob shift, so I'm going to step out of the way of the one that all the bulls and chat rooms are jumping on, and short the more quiet play. That's where you have a lot of longs that are in on APM that are looking for it to do the same thing, but they may be deer in headlights. Is this thing going to curl around and do the PTIX? So you got to understand like where our traders stuck at and be mindful of that. Yeah,
I love that. Right, everyone wants to go to the crowded trade, but really it's the quiet trade that, in my experience, generally does the best. The thing that people are not looking at, they don't really care about.
yes, boring, and
it doesn't make for great TV, which is why you won't see it, but it makes for a lot of money. So the SPY just completely reversed that down move. So whatever trapped some people in could be right. It could be one of those where the initial reaction is more bearish, but if you look here, right, go to the 2-minute chart, this was right where that number came out, and we sold off aggressively, and now we're back up and being led higher again by the Qs. So it's very much tech type of day. And again, the opposite of what we've been seeing all week, where we've had the IWM and the other names really outperforming, and we've had tech lagging. So this is just a reverse of that. So maybe some profit taking from some people who got it right and were shorting big cap tech and buying everything else. Maybe they're taking a little bit of that off the table. RSP holding up here as well, but again, the SPY initial move was down and pretty dramatic down, and now we've just bounced right back up. So we're right at VWAP here, and let's see if we can clear through VWAP, and then this other line again is 2-day VWAP. If we can clear through that as well, then maybe we're off to the races and the bounce is in. But so far, it's been a high volatility chop is all we've been seeing.
Well, did someone call for the boring trade? I got one here. It's doing well. So let's keep that one going here. It doesn't look bad. Coke to 70.90s here. I'm ready to get out if any pullback happens. I'm just trying to ride it to 71s here and ride the trend. Regardless, I'll take 70.85s here if it does pull back to it, but looking for the rip to 71, which would be a nice $200 gain versus a $100 gain. We'll see if we can get up there another 20 cents here, but looking good on Coca-Cola. Boring, but hey, sexy to me today.
Well, you can have, I always was taught, right? You don't have fun while you're making your money in trading. You just have fun while you're spending your money from trading. Right? You don't. And
Is that the lesson?
when I talk about the whole time about crowded trades, and there's crowded trades out there, and I take the other side of them. It's generally speaking what I do. It's why I was able to nail this, sell the cues, buy everything else. And when you're going to the thing that no one's looking at, by definition, you're not in the crowded trade. So that's just a nice one to look at, right? And a lot of day traders come in and they start trading the craziest gap that's gone nuts and has this insane news catalyst. And then when I talk to most of my buddies, they're like, "Oh yeah, I took 20 cents there on Walmart, and that was great.
Right?
I had
crazy.
I had 2,000 shares, and I took my 20 cents on Walmart and had a great time and made my $500. I'm done for the day." And that's how most of the profitable traders that I talk to do. Is they're not, or they'll wait for that news event and then they'll wait 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, they get amazed when you tell them that you got like a 20% gainer. They're like, "What?"
Well, and the beauty of, again, what we're doing here with Trade the Pool is you've got so much access to buying power. You don't need necessarily a 20% gain. You get yourself 10 cents with a $200,000 account. You're a happy camper.
I agree. All right, we'll see what happens here. And Coke stop is set there, 70.85 at this point, ready to take the money and run. If it doesn't want to run through the 70.90s, it's hit it twice, so that leaves room for a VWAP pullback. If I get out here and then have to get back in, I will take the cash and just keep on moving on, guys. Let's get it going. Let's keep going. That's the first air horn of the day. Let's keep moving. What are you guys looking at? Where's the track? Where's the track going? Now at least I'm seeing something in the green. Utilities, real estate, and healthcare slightly in the green, 0.1. We're talking literally 0.01. Everything else still red from the open. So that just goes to show me it's a tough market right now. And I think this is going to be tough until Jerome speaks tomorrow, right? Jerome is getting together today, but we're not going to hear too much from today, right? And I think that now you got to keep your eyes open that it's just about the big bad wolf. What will he do tomorrow? Unfortunately, we won't be live through it, so I wanted to talk a lot about that today on what our thoughts are and conversations like that. But there's Coke right back down, and that's why you take the money and run.
I was about to say, thanks for reminding me of that, because really, right, this is the range. And remember, we highlighted this range, which is yesterday's range on the SPY. And not only are we still inside that, we are still inside today's range. We have done absolutely nothing here on the market. And I completely forgot about Jack's hole.
Sell the rips, buy the dips. Is that what we're seeing? Is that what could be, Michael?
All the time we hammer the table when there's a big event incoming. Sometimes the day before, even 2 days before, the market does nothing because no one wants to commit to taking a big bet one way or another until after that event. So yes, today might just be one of these fake out days where you have these kind of extreme moves, even to the downside and to the upside, and you take the other side of it. And then after that, when you get to, whatever announcement or whatever he does over at Jack's hole, then you're done. And then it gets a movement one way or another. Because again, if you look at the weekly candle so far here on the market, it's really boring. It is. This is yesterday's or last week's candle, and this is this week's candle so far. Nothing's really occurred here. And if you go to RSP, it's even more pronounced because this is this week's candle where it's like pretty much a doji. It's right at its opening price. Nothing has happened this week. So all of this could have just been a whole lot of games. And again, I thank you for reminding me because I completely forgot. This could all just be nonsense until he talks tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon, we get kind of the real move of what the market actually wants to do.
Yeah, we were talking about this 2 weeks ago and how this left room for this week to be that week of lull action, that week of shaking the bulls, right? Shaking them, right? Trying to shake some out, right? I think this is a perfect week to do it. And I think that Jerome is just going to pretty much say what he's always said, that he's data dependent, inflation's starting to go down, but then inflation showed a little bit of a tick up, so he can't do anything, right? I think that's what we can expect to be said. Now, how will that affect the actual outlook going into September, right? That's, I think, the more focus. Is the
APM just halted up, FYI. Yeah, got stopped out on that 280. So now with APM, it's interesting. So we could see shorts, underwater here in the next leg up. So the APM's halted up. Let's take a look at PTIX. PTIX hit the magic 20, and that may start fading now that all the longs are now pushing over on APM. So let's take a look at PTIX perhaps for if longs are going to now move in on APM. I could look for an entry here against the highs 520.
SLQT also getting going towards the upside. That's a 245 stock, up 33% there. Just wanted to put that one on the radar, at least out there.
520. I'm going to set the stop, guys, on PTIX.
Where's that Thar at?
Yeah, Thar's interesting, too.
All right, go popping back to like 550 for me, Thar.
Is this his last Jack's hole? Is that...
Yeah,
they do that once a year. One. Oh well, so what if he just comes out and just goes like bananas? I wouldn't.
He has a speech. He has a speech. That's all it needs to have, right? He has a speech to say whatever he wants to say, man. I would love it. It would be good TV if he just goes on and just
I just want to
rant.
A rant about Trump
about being non-intellectual and how I use data and quantifiable measures.
You're fired anyway. We all know you're fired anyway. You might as well go out. with a intellectual bang. All right. What was it? What was that movie with the? I obviously can't repeat it, but the.
I love that one. He's like, I obviously can't repeat it, but
hold on. See if I can find.
How's the Tesla Dragon doing today? I think it's an interesting one to look for a 330 recovery if we're gonna rip right back up, right? Tech name, right? That's been doing well, but now starting to fade, right? So I'm looking to see if that can ever go green today. It's not green right now, at least. Apple also one of those stocks.
That's what
Half Baked. There you go.
Quitting scene in Half Baked. If you haven't watched,
that's the scene.
That's what I was thinking about. Could you imagine? And there's going to be a couple people in here who've seen that. If you haven't, go see Half Baked. It's one of those like 90s stoner comedy movies that is great.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, there's a very famous quitting scene in there, and that's what I was thinking. It'd be hilarious if he did, because I'm just in it for the memes at this point.
Oh yeah, that one's a definite good one here. Here I have a version of it.
You have a censored version?
Yeah,
that's why I said I couldn't say it.
I think I have. I'm just gonna make sure first.
That would be that would
be one of those. It's one of those that
legendary.
Yeah. Here you go. You know what? You just grab on the mic. And you say, you know what? I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of expletives before that, but
yeah. Let's just say if I hit the back button, you'll see them.
That would be amazing, because you'd have to do. He's gotten bullied for so long. You got to have something, even if it's like a little snide jab.
This would be me. This would be me after.
Yeah.
The dude.
Oh, at some point you got to start thinking about your legacy. That's the way I would look at it, right? That would be my legacy.
Man. Leave the legacy, man.
You'd be go down in history of a
That's
Fed
that's
chair
why I
leaving.
think that's why I think the other Fed turned today. Remember how there was this Fed that was going to step down because she was being accused of fraud? She turned.
Hmm.
She's saying, "No, you know what? To hell with that. To hell with that, man."
Fraud's legal, right?
You don't think
Have
that
at it.
Jerome talked to her and was like, "No, don't worry, I got your back. I'm a lawyer. I got your back." You don't think so? You don't think the Feds have each other's backs? I think they do. I think it's
Oh,
a
I would imagine.
close knit family. Even like Waller that like acts like he's on the other side, right? They're still very very supportive to each other. Uh, at least I would think so, because they're the only ones that can support each other, right? I mean, everybody else can talk a lot. There's a APM opening up there to 320s. We'll see if it comes crashing right back down, but that one just opened up. Just wanted to put it out there on alert. I'm not trading that thing, but hey,
PTIX still kind of wild up here, guys, and then I took some off, reducing the risk, and then 520 still holding up though, so I'm with it still against 520.
yeah.
We'll see what PTIX does. I mean, this thing, it's the wild wild west. It's one to reduce the risk on.
It's an
Smaller,
interesting one because it's
yeah,
done 3 attempts to break the resistance. So
yeah.
one more attempt and fail would be the way that I'm looking at it. So can it get above 5 and fail one more time? That's my interesting look. And it's a
Hmm.
wick at that 5, not a close above 5, right? That's why we talk about the closing action being very important,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So I actually think wicks through 5 here shows me that there's a heavy seller sitting there filling more and more at above 5, right? So we'll see what happens there, Kevin. Wish you the best of luck on your trade. I'm going to go to
Thank
your
you. Good sir.
screen, but I just wanted to at least I like to add on these because I look at these all the time too, Kevin. So it's fun to kind of watch you trade these and then just give small perspective into the chart,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially since I'm not in. I have a greater outside perspective.
We're seeing
Right.
a bit of just quickly a bit of a flippening here where now
Ooh,
we've
what are
had
you
the
saying?
Qs kind of back at lows,
Okay.
right? And then we have the SPY pretty much grinding near highs. So this is again what we've been seeing all week is that the big cap tech are the ones that start to kind of drag down and not really participating with everything else. So RSP, you can see RSP is hitting highs of the day
There we
where we
go.
have the Qs hanging out right here and trying to participate, but definitely lagging. And then look at the Dow, right? The Dow is actually really looking strong here and breaking through highs. So more of the same, more of this unwind of this, everyone being long large cap tech and short everything else against it. Today it looked like out the gate that we were going to have the opposite, where big cap tech was going to actually hold up and lead us higher. It looks like that's reversing as well. So these guys are still forcefully having to unwind this trade.
520 slippage there through on that rip dip right back down. It's an interesting one. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens here on PTIX. I'm watching it there. Definitely saw some sizing filled around 520s that knocked it right back. So we'll see what happens.
It almost feels like, that they're gonna at least break through the highs. It's calling the name, because there's so
Yeah.
many orders sitting there. You just almost know it's going to happen. So I didn't do it, but should have in retrospect. But sizing down to a point where you can give it the wiggle room for that to happen. Additionally, on this chart, I really like the 200-day up here as well. It's coming right up to that 200-day. Let me pull that up. The
Yeah.
200 days right around $5, and if we look at the past chart history, what we're seeing on it
Oh,
is
yeah.
every time this thing taps it pulls back down. So yeah, probably
530 comes right into that level, at least for
yeah,
me. And I have an EMA versus an SMA, but very similar to yours. So I'm with you on that resistance kind of holding in right now.
right, yeah, yeah. So what are you thinking with it as far as your
So
entry
for
goes?
me, wait for the break of the 9 EMA, close underneath the 9 EMA. We've had 2 attempts to break the 9 EMA, but we haven't had that third attempt. That's why I'm still waiting. So I'm waiting for a third attempt break on the 9 EMA in this pattern. If it goes through this pattern and goes to the pattern 3, which we're seeing right now, that's where I kind of hands off. The bulls have control here. We'll see where they drive it, and then we go into the next consolidation pattern.
Well, and just right, the
So
market is ripping. So right now, just keep an eye on that. We have IWM almost green on the day. We
Coke
have,
right back.
yeah, everything is
Yeah,
something.
so this is very important. Good mention there,
Yeah,
Michael. I appreciate
especially
you
with the
coming
small
in there,
caps. Yeah.
especially because you heard me earlier say what? The sea of red, right? Well, look how the sea of red has turned to a sea of green, right? So now the ocean tide has turned, right?
Mhm.
So now you got to turn too. You got to be able to be flexible. That's the number one thing I think that day traders sometimes get wrong. They have this pre-market look and they stick to it versus look at what's happening. Now tech coming back, cyclicals coming back, financials coming back, basic materials, industrials, and you see how everything's almost aligned in the percentage that is going up? It's being led by tech, but there's a huge rotation on and also like financials through communication services. Why? Because they're literally the same percentage move up. They're the same percentage. So that tells me more and more, yeah, led by tech, followed by cyclicals, and then everything else kind of just slowly grinding up higher here. Let's see if Apple can get the run now. Apple's just been sitting there, sitting. Let's see if the Bulls want to take it now that it's been sitting around.
Thar, I'm going to hit on this backside, guys. THAR.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going
How
to hit
you
this.
approaching that?
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
No worries. So you focus in on, you nail that Thar. Let me know once you're in, and then we'll go to your charts to explain the trade there. I'm focusing around to see what's moving here. APLD going for that 16 break. Tempest doing really well. So trying to stay to the top end, right? What was doing well stayed well. AEVA, another name, Grail doing well. RCAT now starting to push. SBET tells me that watch for maybe an Ethereum shift back into the green. Starting to
Well, I'm
push there.
watching Walmart here. Right,
Walmart,
just
I
the
like.
VWAP to VWAP. Spent the whole morning under VWAP. So again, I've done nothing today. 15 seconds left in this candle. If it can close above VWAP, you'll see a little green arrow pop up here, and then that will be my entry with basically $100 as the target. So I'll probably just undercut that. Such a big psychological level. I'll put it at like, I don't know, 9950 or something, but didn't quite trigger there. So now we got to wait another 2 minutes. But just again, seeing this is just crazy. So this is the rip to almost even in RSP. We're seeing IWV, IWM almost positive here on small caps. And the Qs are trying to catch up, but they're lagging. So it's just showing more and more of what we've been talking about the entire week. I think we got more. I'll again on Monday. I'll update you guys with the commitment traders data, see how much of this trade is unwinded. Still feels to me like there's a lot of positioning short this versus long. They're short IWM versus long the Qs. And again, they've been wrong for so long. You got to get out at some point. You just have to.
Looking for a pullback to join the party in APLD, guys. I just need to pull back into the 1580s here. I don't want to buy this 16 break at the high day, but it looks great. So looking around to see what stocks look awesome off of VWAP entries, right? Where I can know the resistance and it's a positive chart. Like this SoFi looks good. This Mara looks interesting. You see how you have this sideways right here. These are levels that I can now risk off of and look to see if we start to get drives, right? So at least I'm looking for charts that look similar to that. Clean Spark, right? Stocks that dipped and now are holding VWAP, right? All these names look very similar. Tells me more and more how this could be more of an algorithmic type of style trade that I want to catch those VWAP runs, right? And those pullbacks to VWAPs seem to be all around right now. Look at this kind of BT, BE holding well, SBET. They're all kind of doing that undercut and rally kind of strategy that we look at. METC now finally pulling back. That's going to be one that I take below 21s just because it's having a hell of a good day. PITX, how's that doing? Almost to 6 now, guys. So that's definitely your high flyer of the day. So just be careful out there with that PTIX.
What are you hooing about, Kevin? Are we excited here?
Yeah, the PTIX, man. Yeah, so Thar is the idea here is really against the open. I'm gonna give it up to 480. It was kind of in a bearish looking flag to me off of that drop. I like the 520 sell off to 420, and then this pop up. Essentially, longs. The idea is I like to take the short as a ticker's popping back up towards a long entry where they're looking for maybe to cut it break even or so. That's the idea for Thar. That's the idea with that trade. PTIX, man, I'm glad I stepped out of the way there. entirely and had to stop at 520. But I did not want to do what happened, yesterday for a lot of traders on Thar. Just you want to avoid sticking around too long on some of these tickers. If it's not like if this thing's breaking up through the 200-day moving average, it's breaking through your levels. You got to just know when to take it off and avoid it.
China doing well. PDD leading the action there. Looking at Baba and some other names.
Josh, bud, you ready down there? You want to give me a thumbs up or something? I don't just. Oh, I saw it. I didn't want to just yank you in there and
Yeah,
have
they-
you
Like I said,
picking your nose or farting or something.
No,
I-
my dad was a morning show host on the radio. So unfortunately, like back in the day when I was a little kid, my stories got told on the radio. So you can drag me under the bus. You can. There was a lot of stuff. Yeah, there was. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I'm good to go at all times. You just be like, hey, John. Oh yeah, what's up? I'm good to go. How you doing,
Josh? How are you doing on the PTIX? You working along on these?
Yeah, long. I told
Yeah.
traders I had traders in chat looking at that $5 natural resistance area for the short, and I was like, yeah, I would not short at 5. I don't think it's going to hold there very long. It's going to squeeze. And the one reversal we did have was because APM started squeezing and going to new high of day. So APM squeezed out of nowhere, and that's when PTIX had a micro pullback. And I'm on my live stream saying, if you are short right now at 5, you better be taking profit because this is a micro pullback.
It's been an interesting day for me. Literally, I've taken the losses on these because PTIX, I'm like, okay, like you were mentioning, Josh, the time before, it's like the mob's there. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go short on APM. And then the mob goes right back to APM and then shoot. And it's just like literally they're ping-ponging back and forth. After Thar yesterday, dude, the longs are here. They're here to stay. They're squeezing out short. So I'm just going to step out of the way and wait for the confirmation over anticipation.
Don't even have trade the pool pulled up today because I was like, I am not shorting today. After yesterday and Thar, the longs are out to play today, and it's just not a shorter's day. Now APM's got some good reversals to be had. I do finally have, I guess I should say, or will have PTIX pulled up because PTIX is I call it what's it called?
Right to 3.
Upper Shadow City. So if you go to the past chart history on PTIX on the 1-year 1-day chart, it's got like 87 upper shadows. It's got more upper shadows than freak out. But it's got a lot. It's going to be a good short up top. You just have to wait for it. And today it's going to be minimum I said 670 is what I called for in my morning alerts this morning. I said, if you're going to short the top on PTIX, you better wait for around the 670 area.
Why didn't I short solar today?
Run was like the best trade today for me. Thank you, Money Mitch, on that backside short.
Hey, at least somebody got it. Someone get that money.
Money.
But yeah, I agree, man. And now
taking long in China names just to give you guys that C-Web long.
Looking, Run might be doing a VWAP to VWAP move here, so I got my eyes on it.
There you go. Get after it now. Open coming back up. That can be one to look at. You want to look at momentum names if we're really going to start driving. Even Palantir, right? Even Palantir. If we're driving, I say you look at momentum. We're falling. Stay away. Stay away.
AEMD guys for the boring backside short traders back there.
Oof.
AEMD.
Oh, you had me at boring.
Yeah, I love the boring trades. Although these do lure me in, these other ones, and you got to size down on them if you're on the certainly if you're trying to short front side, you gotta stop well. Josh, I was telling them earlier, like I was seeing traders on X, blowing up. They're being honest and transparent about it, but just like overly convicted, and hitting these into oblivion. Rather than just reversing or stepping out of the way. So I mean, you got to just not let your ego get in the way.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's trading 101. That's what I work with every day with those traders because that's what they're. It's crazy how hard it is at first for your ego, your mind just gets in the way. But that just shows you how strong your mind generally is. Speaking, it's a Merlin. No, sir. It's very powerful. So you have to learn how to tame those things down early on.
You got to get the bark in you, man.
This is the time of the day when we have dogs going in and out. It's kind of like it's almost like you're at a daycare. So you've got dogs going in and out from different rooms, outside to back inside, and then they finally get settled down. But yeah, it's very from right around about 8:45 to 9:30 my time. It's
just like the market, Once it hits 10 a.m., who let the dogs out comes on. You know,
literally, might as well be an alarm for them. Who let the dogs out? You know, and they just, yeah.
Hold on. Let me save that for the after hours. Let's keep it going. Let's take a look. Markets climbing back. Technology leading this rally. Also, basic materials coming into play. Talked about that earlier. Silver, gold continuing. Aluminum now joining the party. Metals and minerals. Pretty much majority of the names now green and sectors in the green and basic materials. Technology is doing really well also. The only areas that are red are information technology, consumer electronics, and solar. So the flipping there.
Yeah, micro caps and small caps green today. So now it just flipped. Red to green, we're down about 0.5% there at one point, even more so. And now we are up on the small cap. So again, the unwind continues.
Yeah.
Who is it going to be? What hedge fund do we think has exploded? Because
that's a good. Is there a poll on that one? Is there a poly market on that one? APLD, remember I talked about 16 being the level for APLD, looking for that one to get the run again. Look at there, boom, breaking 16, now the 1625s. And this one hasn't been weak at all today or weak on the pullback. That's why I'd like the APLD. I missed it today. I will say that. I was watching it right now at the 1590s. I wanted to pull back to 1580s again. I didn't get it. It broke 16s. It's now 1623s. We'll see if it continues to climb. High flyer of the day, UMAC. And I think this is ripping, guys. This is pushing. This tells me RCAT following along the way. And this is why I like relationships, right? You see how these trade so similarly? That's what you want to be able to, because it's kind of hard to misplay both of these on the long side, right? If you were just looking for longs and looking at both of these names, well, pretty easy setups, and they're both riding high. All right, coming to you guys for different setups out there. We can keep
where Money Mitch, take a look where PTIX just topped at.
Yep. So what we say? Another consolidation range and waiting for it to break. Now we get the break. Now I look for a 9 EMA recovery. That's what I take a look
today,
at.
620.
Yeah, so now I look at this to just try to do one more attempt towards that consolidation zone. So the consolidation zone is right above here, right between the 6 and kind of like your, let's put 560s. I'd want it to come back to that line and reject, right? Where majority of the times this falls fast back down to 5. Since I haven't gotten in there, I'd look for a little bounce to 550s above, and then I could get short, right? But we'll see if we even get a chance to get that. It's dropping fast.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Little power surge. Just one of those.
I'm glad you were not in a trade.
Yeah, it's like your heart like stops anyway. Like it just like zoom, and I'm like, oh.
It's a good learning lesson, man. Always have the alternative. Michael and I talk about this all the time. This is why we have Trade the Pull app right here on the phone. You want to have that. You want to have a backup ability to just get out, right? And a lot of that is going to be with this thing. This thing
the
that you
market
have.
makers were after you.
And I have a surge protector, and my surge protector got jolted off. Like, that's why I'm like, how did I, because I even have one of those, because usually for, if anything, this will hold me up for like 10, 15 minutes down here.
Yeah.
And it went off. That's why I was like, I got like a heart, like it was like, boof, boof. I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, how did that turn off? Yeah, it was one of those.
And for traders that trade big, if you have a lot of money on the line, you can get things like battery backups. Yeah. Those are the way to kind of keep yourself online. But don't forget to also put your router on that battery backup, because I see a lot of traders make that mistake. They're like, my computer's on. Everything's on, but the internet's down. Oh, well, that's not going to help.
Exactly. But I have two. I have one in here, a cyber power one in here, and then one on my, literally just specifically on my router or whatever. Because I'm with Xfinity, so they got one of those all-in-one things where it's like a router motor or whatever all in one. Yeah.
All right, I'm stocks lift. Let's go. Let's trade.
Doing the whole house soon. The whole solar and the backup battery.
Yeah. We're building a house, and when I build, that's what I'm like. Yeah, they're like,
you're gonna do the Tesla power wall.
I don't know. I'm pricing them up now, but yeah, I'm doing the whole off grid, right?
Nice.
Yeah, maybe a Generac.
Chickens, right?
I'm getting a Generac. Well, it's funny. The person next to us have one, so every time we lose power, you hear his Generac turn on, and I have like a little portable one, and I hear his turn on, and I'm just like, oh god,
like
that SOB.
Just go plug into his.
Hey, I thought about it.
I
Your
know.
small caps just ripping.
Ripping.
Still.
Hey, good catch,
Uh,
Michael. I know you're all about catching that, especially that small cap. Well, you've been looking for this for a while. IWM leading the party, leading a nice drive back. This is a good level to see the IWM bounce here, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, if you zoom
perfect
out,
level.
right? Yeah, it just tapped yesterday's low and then ripped. And if you look over here, these are all the major indices, and it's the only one that's green. And then IWC, which is your micro caps, that's flat. So it's the rotation again. We've been seeing all week. We have the Qs down still, and then we have the small caps and the micro caps up. So
Ooh, that AEMD
they got too
starting to
big.
drop. We'll see what happens on that.
Money Mitch, why don't I? Yeah, I always in hindsight after I'm like getting whiplash on the PTIX and the APDs of the world, APMs of the world. I'm like, why did I not just stick to AMD? Like you get those that hit.
Robots.
Yeah, exactly. The
Robots.
robots.
Make the robots do it.
AMD. That was such a like we
You don't
called it
speak
in
that
here,
language, dude. You don't speak the.
man.
Get the robots to do
Man.
it. Right?
You
Then
need to
don't
know
miss a
your
Right.
ones
trade
and
ever again.
zeros, bro. You need to know your ones and zeros.
Got to get in the
Right.
matrix. Got to get in the matrix, brother.
Yeah, man. We're all in the
Well,
matrix, right? We're just trying to win at the matrix.
Yeah,
And
trading.
Michael says, I'm a system in the matrix, guys. Forget you guys and you're all trying to be unplugged and take the
Yeah.
blue pill. Forget that. Take the red pill. Go build bots, baby.
Robots.
He's gonna have the bots running his house.
He's-
Solar.
What we don't know is Michael is an agent. He's an agent.
No, I like because I've only done my Walmart triggered, and I obviously didn't miss that because the robot
He's an agent,
got
man.
it in.
He's an
Other
agent.
than that, I've done nothing. Not
All
a
right,
thing.
PTIX back down to 5 now, really starting to turn things around. So we'll see if that really starts to break down there. How's that Thar doing? Thar is still trying to reload. I think this is trying to make a little bit of a push. I don't know if you're still in this, Kevin, but it looks like it's trying to hold on today. And holding on is not what you want to see if you're trying to get short, right? So
Yeah. No, I took it.
how you
I took
feeling
it
about
off.
that one? Yeah, you're
Yeah,
out.
exactly. The sideways stair step action is not what a short wants to see on that.
You want to see it like
Wants
how
to
you
be
got
hard
it on
reset.
PTIX, where it was just like
Right.
instant gratification, right? That's what you're looking for.
Exactly. Yep. The PTIX Magic 20 holding up there. I tried it against the Magic 520.
It's a tough one.
It was a different 20 that was holding up. Yeah, Josh, I go over the 20 cent area in here often. We see it every single day on a lot of these tickers. But guys, I really want to stress for those in chat, I mean, results-oriented versus process-oriented trading. Just because you have a red trade or red day does not mean you're a bad trader at all. Sticking to the process and making sure that regardless, you stuck to your trading plan. You adhered to your trading plan. What separates the amateurs from the pros are, did I adjust my risk parameters mid-trade? Because that would be an amateur thing to do. You define it prior to entering the trade, stick to it, and regardless of the result, you stuck to the trading plan. Good trade.
So yeah, milkshake. Absolutely. If the government's going to give me a 0 interest loan, you better believe I'm maxing that guy out. 0 interest in this environment, I'll take it.
Take the loan and throw it on PTIX short.
Yeah. And then mentioning Open. So Open's holding pretty well, right? It's not really looking too kind of crazy one way or the other here. I got the daily chart. Like it's not really doing anything. It's just kind of chopping around here, holding up nicely. That's good, but it's a small cap and small caps are holding up. So again, I don't really see too much here, but for this, I really think the data that comes in, I think it's this Friday with the update to the short float. That's what everybody is going to be focused on, because if it's still heavily shorted and it's holding up, we know that the shorts were around 50 cents to $1. If they're still short and it's sitting at 3 or 4, that's interesting to me, but no evidence of that, right? We need to wait in order to see what happens, and those come out on Friday, or Friday night, so Saturday. But yeah, just holding looks good. Nice little base in this area.
All right, guys, thinking about adding to this C-Web and then just holding break even. I have a 46 entry here, but I'm also looking at METC here and just trying to determine if I'm going to take an METC. One of the things I'm seeing in the SPY that could set up here is just still selling the rip and buying the dips. Are we going to see a continued rip today, or are we just going to dip again back to the VWAP? That's my thing right now. So I'm trying to fight that. And if I think it's going to rip, I could add to CWeb and just look for the continued drive. If it's going to pull back here and go to VWAP, I could also get a pullback in CWeb back down to VWAP. So I got to keep that in mind here. I have a 46 entry, so I'm definitely a little extended away from VWAP. So in this case, I'm just looking for it to run. If I add here, I'm probably just going to ruin my average and just get too high up in the chart. And we talk about this all the time, right? The worst place to be is stuck in the middle. I'm buying the high here, but I can't let it go back to the middle because the next thing you know, I'm underwater. And if it goes back to support, of course, I get wiped out, right? So looking for these China internet stocks to kind of lift. PDD having a really good day there. That's why I looked at this in the first place. BABA doing well, right? FXI
That
looking
PDD chart
decent.
looks nice.
It does. And you know what it is, Michael, is the forgotten trade, right? No one's thinking China right now because they're so like blinders on. What's going on here? The world is ending. Well, you're just not paying attention. Pay attention to the charts, right? The charts will tell you. And that's why Michael tries to keep you guys tamed in a little bit, right? Because sometimes that's what happens. The noise around you gets so loud, you put on blinders and you stop focusing around the market. China could definitely be that trade that takes off here. So I'm taking a shot on that. Riding.
I'll put the blinders on. I'll put the blinders on. We'll put the blinders on over here. Here we go. Here we
Good.
go. One thing I did notice, and I put in the chat, APM and PTIX are up the same
Coming to
exact.
you,
Well, they
mate.
were a minute ago. That's not going to stay the same. So one of those will take the mob.
Share up.
Oh, my bad. Yeah,
Share up, bro.
Let me share the screen. Let me put the shades on. Let me share my screen.
We don't want to see the gray. We want to see the into the black.
Into the black. Let's do it. I like it. So let's go over to screen 3 here. Let's get it rocking and rolling. Yeah, they're back there playing. Yeah. That's we got two back here going at it. We got two Great Danes saying, "No, I'm gonna win. No, I'm gonna win." They're both young and they got to have some fun. But a second ago, they were literally both up about 130% on the dot, which you can still see APM is up 130% on the day. Now the price range is different, so that's probably two different types of mobs. Of course, you get your traders that could be $1 to $2 range, $5-6 range. They're gonna be usually different traders because of how many shares they can afford. That's usually your retail every average day, 3 years in, 5 year in trader. But what other traders are going to start noticing, like myself, who's going to really truly take the mob at this point as we move further into the day. My money's on PTIX at this point. It just has a little bit cleaner chart. Where APM also, and I talk about this too a lot that traders need to pay attention to. How long have you been running? Well, it's not like it's much more, but APM has been running since 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. my time, where this started a little over an hour afterward. So this has an hour head start on it, which means traders are getting a little tired of it, a little exhausted of it. They didn't squeeze it and going to new highs, right? What have we seen squeeze and go to new highs? PTIX. So my money would be seeing this APM play probably fall and die off, or if anything, consolidate out to the right for a while. And I'm going to be watching PTIX to squeeze. And I talked about this earlier. Upper Shadow City and Holy Petroleums. There's a lot of upper shadows on that chart.
Yeah, so have your
I
finger.
promise you, by the end of the day, this stock will end with a massive upper shadow. That's an AK stamp of approval.
Keep in mind too, 520 is holding up PTIX. Some lower shadows there, so I don't disagree. You know, it's the lower of the floats too.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
That will definitely. Oh, go ahead. That'll definitely help it out.
Well, they've both rotated their float a lot. I love Michael's analogy on the float rotation, but yeah, they've rotated a lot. Yeah, PTIX and APM, so bear that in mind too. But agreed. I mean, APM's a little larger, so we'll see where the mob goes.
And I've noticed too, a lot of the time, just speaking back, been doing, watching these small cap plays spiking since 2017, 2018. Really, 2016 was my first year watching them. I didn't get to watch as many charts as I wish I would have back then. But regardless, it is, to me, in my opinion, when you get the plays that are $5 to $6, right? They get some movement and you get more some runs where a lot of the time, which we did see yesterday from Thar, it took it a minute, but Thar, as we were talking in the chat yesterday, got off its butt and kind of started rolling. As we talked about in the live stream as we were going yesterday, was going to see some consolidation, which Thar did get yesterday later in the day. But then what we're looking for, and I was in my live stream talking about this, and I talked about it with you guys on THAR yesterday. When you're above the VWAP and you're moving into that last hour of the day and you start escalating up, look for continuation. So that's why they call it power hour. We don't get it every day. We wish we would. We'd all be millionaires and make money on these pops and these squeezes. But this is what we're looking for a lot of the time if we do went along, and then what? Continuation. So that's what I'd be looking for today. Again, like you were talking about earlier when I first joined, Kevin, about that kind of like power, so to speak, of THAR moving into today. Well, it's shown it with APM and PTIX. So do not be surprised if we see a move in power hour into the closing bell again today.
Pushing strong on that China names, guys. This is a great trade here.
It's interesting you brought up that like it needs to be above a couple of dollars. Money Mitch was talking about that a few days ago, like how a lot of the chat rooms they focus on like $3, $4, $5, $6 tickers. Yeah,
Gotta know
Margin.
where the
gotta know.
Right? I think under 3 is completely unmarginable, and then under 5 you get less margin. So like these guys that want to trade on, and especially if you have portfolio margin, which I think in the US you just need 100K. Then
alert out there, MSTR pushing strong, guys, just to keep us on watch.
How's Bitcoin been? I haven't looked at Bitcoin in a minute. Have you guys?
That's why I'm bringing it up. I use MSTR as just the indicator there, right?
Yeah.
Not doing too much, down 0.5%. MSOS. Again, I'm talking my book here, right? Because I'm in the leverage ETF. But
hold on, let me go get my cannabis stock right quick.
Do it.
This daily chart, they're not giving it back. It's a nice looking bull flag. Again, I always tell you I am leveraged to the hilt on MSOX, which is the 3x leveraged here from somewhere in this area. I can't remember. It's like $4.50 or $5. And I don't know. It's holding on great. The reason I noticed it is I just sorted my ETFs by what are up the most. We have microcaps doing the best, the IWC, which is a microcap index. And then we have small caps doing a little better. And then I take a look, and the top performing ETF I'm watching is MSOS, and this is looking pretty good to me. I generally don't do it. I have a bad time doing it, but I might add here a little bit on my MSOX, just waiting to see, right? The idea is, right, do we fill this gap, this void right here? This is the Trump election gap, right? Where everyone said, okay, the election came out and they said, well, there's no way we're getting reclassified under Trump, and this thing just died. It went down like 90% right from this gap here. So I'm just thinking if we get back in there, maybe there's some shorts, a little bit caught offside. Maybe we get a little bit of a pop through. Again, I don't like this sector for a long term. This isn't an investment for me. It's just, can I take a shot? Because if you look at what that's gonna be, if that happens on MSOS, well, now you're talking to move to like $20, so another double from here. I'll take it. But just something I noticed is it's leading the charge today, followed by gold miners. It's just hilarious that you're seeing, which is a
gold,
nice
baby.
breakout.
AU's my trader there.
Nice. This is a really tight chart, really nice breakout in this gold miner sector. And you combine that with just two things you generally don't see side by side is, hey, you can buy your boomer gold stocks, or you can get your marijuana stocks, and they're both going the same way.
Yeah, I was told to get into gold a few years ago. I was unfortunate not to listen. I was like, dang it, I should have gotten into that.
And this is the vehicle. This is the vehicle of choice for me, guys. When it's doing well, look at how this performs. Right? It's just a straight stair step. You talk about these, Kevin, in the small ones. It's a straight stair step up. It's a stair step type of stock. AU is one of my favorite trading vehicles out of all the market. Out of all the market, I can tell you right now, if there was one stock I might just solely trade, I might just become a gold trader and just trade this AU, because look at the daily chart too. It's such a beautiful stock. Beautiful stock.
Yeah, and then there's GDXJ, which is your junior gold miners. If you want a little bit of juice on it, that's having a real nice breakout.
Oh yeah.
That's good too. That's good too. This one's a little gappy, so it's a little scary when you
a little less volume, and plus it's like the small caps of the gold miners, so you're gonna get.
It's a good looking chart, right? I mean, I can't tell you that you're wrong on that. That's for sure. It's a good looking one. AU, what I like about it is it drives away from price levels, right? Like you might get this wrong once or twice, but when you get it right, it seems like you're looking at it and it's just like, dude, when's this going to stop going? And it just keeps going. You look at it on the 1. Look how it just drives on this 9. every pullback is getting bought back up.
PTIX
Every
alert
pullback.
right now. Sorry. Yeah,
No,
we're
come
dropping.
in with it. Come in with it.
Maybe the elevator down here, PTIX. We got to be mindful of that 520 area. We nearly double topped up there at 620.
I remember when this broke down into that area, I said, can we come back to that consolidation area and then reject it? That would be my play. It's in now. Like the 580s was a great entry if you got that. Now it's like kind of how can I risk closer towards 550s, at least for me.
And mob shift. Look at APM now popping back up to the high of day area. So now we're getting a little bit of that mob shift back on over to APM.
Yeah,
ping ponging. Oh man.
And it's the algos that do this, guys. It's not just the people. That's what I think. A lot of traders kind of get slipping. It's how are they that quick? Well, it's a computer. It's not you. That's how they switch that quickly, right? And so there it is. APM taking a nice little push. SLQT is one name that's been hanging out here. It's up about 37%. It's an insurance broker. This one could come down, but even if it comes down, it's going to maybe give you 20, 30 cents. So just nothing that stands out to me in that one. That THAR is one I'm still looking at to see if it came back to 5. It rejected the VWAP here. It could start to flush right back down here. It's interesting, but it's a tougher trade now, I think, than if you got it earlier. It's a tougher
and that's what
trade
made
now.
that trade so pretty, at least yesterday afternoon, and then may get that again today. Again, you get those algos, the bots, whatever. You get that mob shift. I've always told traders you're going to love it when it's just one stock moving because that's just what they're moving with. That's what's trading it. So that's where you get that good squeeze from THAR yesterday. So be looking for that at some point today. Like I was just reiterating earlier, they're both about up the same percentage amount. Right now, PTIX is up 127%. APM now with 140%. At some point today, one of those will take the mob and the winner and the other one will kind of flush back on down. So it'll be interesting to see. And then that's where I love to come in. And that's when I go live in the afternoon on my stream and go, all right, here we go. Now we've got a winner. Now we have a chart that we can trade because it's just one chart that we can worry about. We're not going, oh, this one. Oh, no, this one,
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to trade multiple charts. That's why you either need the computers to help you or you're going to get left on the sideline. And I'll tell you right now, that part of me is thinking, how can I sometimes trade with a bot and also subjectively trade? Because this is how I think the Furus do it. This is exactly how I think the Furus do it. I think they're trading an algorithm, and then they're also subjectively adding and subtracting. So
that's tons of traders do that, right? Like I have some systems that I work manually, and I have some systems that I auto trade. I think there's areas in which I know a lot of people, and they'll let the bot enter for them because they have a very strict criteria of things they look for to enter trades, and then they manage them from there. They have the bot do the position sizing, the enter, and the stop loss, so that they're just sitting staring at their blotter all day, and when a trade comes in, then they load up the chart and then they start to work it from there. They're looking at what's going on in the market, what's going on with everything else. That contextual awareness is great for sometimes managing trades. And then the other way around, I know people who subjectively enter trades, but then have robots do the management of it. So it's all about where you think your skills lie, and then getting a robot to do where you think you've got some weakness shore up.
Yeah, I've seen it in the past. At least I've traded in pretty much every Furu you can just imagine, and I've known how they trade. And part of that is seeing in how they are able to sometimes profit without. Like I used to beat some of these guys on the entrance. I'm in faster than them, yet they're still making money, and I'm losing. That's a telling sign.
Well, plus, like, what was it? Cameron got slapped for is putting everything on a delay. So he would say, "Oh, look, I'm buying here," and there is.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's the exact situation, right? If I'm beating him on entry, he's getting in now with 3 times the sizing or 5 times the sizing that I'm looking at. Yeah, I'm getting out before he's getting out, and then he's saying he's getting out, yet he still made a profit on the trade. That's the telling sign, right?
There goes APM, which I just alerted, and I literally said in my lobby, I said 370 resistance is next. I didn't put that, unfortunately, here in the lobby on Trade the Pool. But it literally just ran into, you know, share my screen, Money Mitch.
Yeah,
I
let's
will
get
show
you
you
up, my
my
friend.
chart real
Here.
quickly here.
Boom, boom.
Boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka, boom. And there we go. So there was, and these lines, this is why I always say put your lines in and trade them. So this is what's really cool. I'm going to come over to my big chart. We'll go ahead and put APM up here. APM popped up a month ago. So APM popped up a month ago. I'll go to the 1 year, 1 day right now. So you can see when it popped up earlier this year, it was back in July, almost a month ago, right? So I'm going to trust these lines that I thought were really key, like back then. You know, if you go to edit properties, you can see this. Oh, this line was actually put back in March of this year. So in March, I had that line in, and then I told everyone in my chat, if we get over, and I just said it in chat or in this lobby, I said, watch for that spike over that 330 mark, and we're going to go to 370. And that's then just trusting lines from past chart history. And I leave those very strong supply demand zones in, and then voila, breakout, boom, right to your area. This is why for the longest time, you're going to hear me say this for months on end, streaming live with you guys, or if you watch me on my own stream, put your lines in and trade them. Now, this isn't a market which we've seen obviously across the board today from PTIX and APM. Generally, you're going to already be in the trade here because trying to trade these breakouts are so quick that you'd have to just like I look for on to be a slower trader. Okay, breakout and then look for the old resistance supply zone to become demand, right? So old supply zone to become demand, right? The old supply zone to become demand. So let the breakout happen, right? It's too quick. It's too fast. It pops too hard. Wait, have patience for the pullback back down to support. That's the way to trade that. But there was that beautiful higher low pattern pushing into, which I call this a W shape. And then there's even another micro W within it. Of course, if you're in a 1 minute time frame, you'd really be able to see those W's. And I always talk about the W's, and we've kind of established it for the past couple of years that when the right side of the W shape, if the right side's higher, it's going to continue. W shape. It's not much, but the right side of even this micro W is higher. Thus, you get the squeeze. That is what you're looking for small caps. Again, for continuation and pops, are these beautiful W shapes that along the way. Beautiful squeeze right there. Now I'm waiting for a bounce play back around 330.
Looking around out there, guys.
Meanwhile, I'm long Walmart. It hasn't done a damn thing since I bought it. So
Wally World.
You want to talk about, and just nothing else from the bot. There was one thing. It's not in Trade the Pool, but it did land on my personal account as NESR, National Energy Services Reunited Corp. That's the name. So I took a little bit of a short on that one. That one's working, but for some reason, it's just kicked out an error and said that's not in Trade the Pool. So I'll just take that with my own.
I like the daily resistance on that NESR.
Yeah, and this is just a straight mean reversion setup, right? It's saying this thing's in the last 2 days moved a little bit too far, too fast.
Should have just bought T-Mobile and hung out for this whole month in T-Mobile.
There's my Walmart. There's the green arrow buys, and we've done just absolutely nothing. And then I'm just watching this run just to see if later it comes back through. I just added it to the list, so if it comes back through VWAP later, probably after. Then we look to see if we take a move to the 2 day VWAP, because what do we say? 1350 was the halfway.
I just don't even know how the Bulls hung on those stocks today, with Trump just coming out and just ramming them.
Yeah, so right here is it's the 68% retracement. If you're a big fib guy, I'm not a huge fib guy, but I see it more and more with our buddy Steve. And then 1333 is the 50% of this move. And then of course this thing has been insane off its lows. It's like tripled from here. So that's a huge move down to get to a 50% off its lows. But it's a tiny little pullback on this one. So I'm just looking to see if buyers come in later. That's how I'm just going to identify it and saying, hey, if it gets through the 2 day VWAP, it starts to move. So both those incredibly boring. But as we talk about, I'm okay with boring. Boring makes money.
SPY doing exactly what I was a little bit concerned. Would we get the continuation rip? No, we just got right back to the VWAP like I thought so. Just playing the range right now. That's why you got to sell the rips, buy the dips right now, it seems like. And if you're not playing that game, you're going to get in the Jackson hole. We're going to put you in the hole. That's what the market makers are saying right now. We're gonna put you in the hole. You thinking about Jackson Hole? Well, guess what? You're gonna be 6 feet deep, looking around, trying to get out. Don't get put in the hole today. And part of that is over trading on a day like today, right, Michael? That's like one of the recipes for disaster. I think you and I have seen that countless times. I'm sure Josh and Kevin has seen that on days like today. The over trading is what can really get you.
Oh, it murder you. And again, I always say I wouldn't be here if I could have all the money back I took from trades that were outside of a system, which is again why I just completely offloaded that to the system, is because and you can see sometimes I'm coming in, I'm sitting here, I'm saying my bot's taken 20, 30 trades so far today. Today it's taken one. So it's kind of because what I'm looking for is unusual moves, and it's not finding any unusual moves. It just kind of tells me that this is the environment that we're in, and I'm to sit there and be chill. We're between earnings season. It is the second last week in August, and we have a big news event on Friday. So there's just all these things that point to this is going to be a choppier day. So just make sure you got that money, take that money, go do something else.
All right, taking a trade here in METC, 15-minute, 5 minutes, 1 minute, all aligned. You guys hear me talk about this. And sometimes, like, if I'm going to preach it, I better follow what I preach, right? That's what I always say to traders out there, too. If you're going to preach about something that you see happen all the time, well, maybe you might want to take those trades, right? So when we have those confluences where it looks the same on the 15, right? 15, you got this bullish engulfing open. You pulled back. You haven't broken that candle. So I think it could push right back off of that and go green candle again. Then I look at the kind of the shorter time frames, the 5, right? You can see kind of how that's holding in there. If it gets back above VWAP, how that'll look on the 5. The 1 minute, nice little volume came in on that undercut. My man Kevin's been saying it on this stream, so I'll repeat it here. Put your entries where the stops are, right? Well, that's exactly what these traders just did. Where the stop was, it stopped triggered at the 85, and now they're trying to get in here. Let's see if they can reverse it back. I'm going to hold off to 2070, which is really it's the 2064, which is the opening support. But really, you can hold off the 2070s. The only thing is that if you're that close, sometimes you'll get triggered. You see some shares filling at 71, 1,000 shares. So I'm putting the stop at 67 here. We'll see if I do get triggered. Have to have the stop out there because it's a flush down through the opening action if this doesn't hold on. But this is how METC has a tendency of working. So I think it's a perfect time to try to take that shot right back. We'll see if it works out. Coke is another one that I'm thinking about buying off the VWAP recovery. I've already made money on Coke. And if the market keeps chopping, maybe we start to see a little bit more of that defensive come back. But just mentioning out there names that are kind of moving. Apple is the one that's kind of keeping me also kind of on the sideline. It's just not moving here. So just to put that one in perspective. Kicking it to you guys.
Cool. One thing I've noticed, I brought up to my traders in chat, me, Mr. Trend Trader, over the things I notice. When we see back-to-back big, like speaking of the SPY, Apple, all these plays, they're choppy today. I talked about that in the morning alerts that I do. I'm like, I don't see really good movement today. I usually love to trade that first 10, 5 minutes, opening bell range, whatever it is. Today, I'm like, I don't think it's going to happen. And it may be this way the rest of the day. SPY. Well, yeah, go to my chart right here. My bad. Yeah, you're like, I'm talking like, hey, bring it up. Talk about it, Josh. All right, I will. So SPY over here. We'll just go to it in itself. I love the 15. We've talked about that. All of us using the 15, it seems like over here, especially for finding levels and range. When I notice we have one big green or red day, my bad, red day, followed by, my gosh, sorry, my mouse here. Sorry, my mouse is freezing on me here. A little bit of graphic issues for me today. Anyway, after my computer shut down on me. But when we have a red day followed by another opening bell massive sell-off that soaks back up close to the open, and you can go across the board here, right? So we can go across the board. I think it's 3 red days for Meta, if I'm not mistaken, right? So 3 red days. Yesterday we soaked up. We can go over to NVDA, right? Look at these plays today, right? 2 big red days followed by a soak up back to where we opened up at. And today is choppy. I've noticed that. Days like today, and I said that in my to my group, I'm not trading large caps today. I would imagine today is going to be a choppier, more less range-bound day overall across the board. I don't know what it is when I notice red day, soaks back up in the second red day, third day, ugly choppy. So that's just something I've noticed. And for you guys that do trade large caps, again, the sexy Mag 7 that I'm usually typically trading, right? These tech companies usually give you good technical sound charts. usually pretty good movement as well. That's what I'm looking at. I'm waiting to find each day which one looks good, then I'll trade it. I never have a bias going long or short. And then again, even in this, when I just notice stuff, I want you guys to pay attention. Usually seems to happen with SPY and these sexy Mag 7 that run in it. When you have a red day soaks back up at the second end of that red day, that third day, you better watch for some chop because you're probably going to get it all across the board. I didn't mean to go to Thar. I meant to go to Tesla there. But you can see even on Tesla, same kind of thing where we have red day soaks back up. That third day just gets really choppy. And that's why I don't even have a large cap. Well, I put Mr. up because you're talking about a few minutes ago, Money Mitch, but wasn't looking at large caps today. Just what I just noticed. And so I just want to bring that up. You guys were talking and I was like, oh yeah, I want to bring that up today. It's something I noticed today. And then to notice it, call it to see if it happens. And then to be an hour and a half into the opening bell and we're all over and I'm all over what I talked about. Just doing those things over and over, even for myself, who's been doing this for 7-8 years, that just brings gratification and then builds confidence within even me and myself. So do that to your own fact. Like I tell traders to do this day in, day out. When you're done with your trades or trade you've taken, you need to go back through all the charts, start noticing trends, put lines in. Where did you see support? Where did you see resistance? Where did you miss trade, so to speak? Because the more you do that, then you'll notice these type trends that I pick up on and go, yeah, I'm not going to trade large caps today. I think it's going to be ugly. But let me go back test and see in an hour and a half or 2 hours from now if I was right. Across the board, I was right. Okay, so I'm noticing a new trend here. And that way it saves you, like I like to talk about, saves you from taking bad trades.
Well, it's funny. That's how, if you haven't read How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill, you should. One of the greatest of all time. He did the same thing, right? Way back in the day. He actually had to order and print off all of the charts. And he said, I just want, show me every 10 bagger and let's show me it before it moved. And he spent months just studying that. And that's how he came up with his system, is just said, okay, I've noticed the same pattern seems to persist when it came to earnings growth and the cup and handle and all that stuff. So yeah, doing that study, especially after it, and it should be easy enough. Like one thing I always tell people to do is look at all the stocks that were up or down the most. Go to any scanner you can find anywhere in the world and sort all the stocks up the most and down the most, and just start looking at what they looked like before they moved, and then draw correlations, right? Make patterns. That's how you start building systems.
Yep. And then eventually, like I talked about in the one-on-one I was doing yesterday, it's like a big puzzle piece where at first you have no pieces. It's just blank. And then, but slowly but surely you're putting that puzzle together and it's starting to make sense. And then finally the picture's starting to come clear. It just takes time. Like yesterday, I forgot what you said. I think it was Money Mitch. And then someone in chat was like, that's tuition, Money Mitch. I forgot who said that or who it was said, but as in, we're all going to lose at first. Or maybe it was you that was Michael, right? We're talking about losing. And that's true. But that's the thing at first where if you notice these things and you stick to it and have patience, where a lot of people just don't, and they want to rush. And that pushing, unfortunately, is not what you need to do at first. But yeah, I'm not a big reader, but that's one of the best books, I would tell traders to go read. But that's just, I'm trying to, emulate essentially what other great traders did in the past. And that's it. Just find the trends, what trends fit your eyes. Because
and I should specify too, when I say read, I mean there's an Audible version, because I'm an audiobook. I got 2 kids under 3. I got no time to read, but you're mowing the lawn, you're walking the dogs, whatever, you put in your ear pods and you're listening to something. So I always got podcast audiobooks, that kind of thing on the go.
Yeah. And that's the way to go this day and age too, especially if you live in a big city, which when you live if you're in DFW, if you're in a big metroplex and you're in traffic, that's always a good time to be able to do that. Because you have 30 minutes of nothing or 45 minutes of nothing in front of you. So it's a good time to do that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys, swing trade on the VXX. So I'm going to take a little bit of a shot here off the 39s here, guys. See if the market wants to just come down here. It's just kind of teetering here. And I'm going to give it a shot to see if it wants to break down here. Definitely taking this shot a little early. Would like to take it closer towards where the breakdown comes. But, of course, the VIX has 3 bottomings. So I look at the kind of the rule of 4 or a rule of 3 that I talk about, right? So you had that now 1, 2, 3. And you put this bottom right here. So I think this could get tested, but I don't want to see it close below this. And I think it could just start to rise here off of that. I'm going to look for a quick spike towards 39.50s to tell me that, okay, yeah, you got a pretty good looking position here. If I can get that, I'll actually look for the break of 40 on the upside. We'll see what happens here.
That P6 are back and forth with that. We're getting that today. That you can see that computer mob. Retailers run in with it as they see it too as well. But you get one play up, you get one play down. And this is why in this series for me, I just sit back and wait. I'm sitting back and waiting.
Good discipline. Yeah,
gotta wait.
Also, it's prudent to know when to get the hell out of here. One of the things that I would say about penny stocks, and especially small caps, we'll put that under that range, is that the traders that win, they know when the getting's good and they know when it's not. They know when the patterns are working. They know when the patterns are not, right? When the patterns are being choppy, you hold your money. This is why I talked about the brake and the gas pedal analysis, like the way analogy, right? You want to know when to hit the brake and hit the gas. This is the biggest thing that separates the guys that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars in penny stocks. Why? They pick A quality setups and they size into those A quality setups. They know how to hit the gas pedal. This is why I tell you that, Kevin, you even mentioned about a trader that was talking about like all he thinks about is risk. This is where I tell you that the professionals, they get through that. The risk is like back here. That's like step A. The real big traders, what are they able to do?
It's been stepping up on the run. Yeah, I'm thinking about that now. Like step up on the run. Run gave a couple opportunities to do that. Step up there and minimize risk elsewhere. I completely agree. Yeah.
I think that's what happens. And they push into the best plays. They make a lot of their money in probably 2 or 3 plays out of the year.
Yeah.
Really? That's how those bigger traders are making
tons of money, but they're just sitting back for a lot of the year, taking just the high quality setups, a few here and there.
And so I think the first thing is, what's an A, B, or C setup? Instead of focusing so much on trying to execute those setups, really distinguish what those setups are. A lot of traders don't know. You ask them what's an A+ setup. Do they have an answer?
The leading gapper of the day.
Right. It's up 196%, right? That's the best setup, right?
And I think I talked about this with you, Kevin, where you were saying, right, does the bot dynamically position size? And I said, well, even within the same strategy, sometimes that happens. So us systematic guys do it too, where we have, maybe a back test that has 10,000 trades in it and it has a 52% edge. So you apply X risk to it. And then you take a subset of that and you say, well, so my mean reversion trades, hey, if it's up 3 standard deviations, it works better than if it's up 2 standard deviations. Well, that subset of trades will size up a little bit bigger, and we'll say, okay, maybe I'll take 2 times my risk on that because I know it has a more increased edge. So yes, all kind of professional traders generally have some ability to say, well, for me, it's quantitative, and some people it's kind of gut feel. This is a better setup, so I should apply more risk. And when it comes to trading with Trade the Pool, for me, it's a percentage of my account. But when it comes to trading with a prop firm, it might be your daily stop out. So if your daily stop out's $300, maybe on most trades you're doing 50 risk per trade. But then on this one, because it's meeting more of that criteria, maybe up that and you do 75 or 100 risk per trade or something on that one. Knowing that you're still not going to predict what's going to happen in that trade. No one can ever do that. But, over time, there's an increased edge in that. So you want to apply a little bit more of your risk to that.
Yeah. I think that's the way to really kind of turn the equity curve. But Josh, you want to add?
No, yeah, because I'm speaking. That's why I pulled this out. This is kind of like my Manila folder that I do all my. I used to track and journal through this day in day out, but this is also where now I keep track of my students that I do one-on-ones with, and I can't tell you how many I'll go through. Then I talked about this recently, finding setups or finding A+, because I always have a negative side and things that they need to work on. And that's almost every single one of them. And then it goes down to then confidence below that, because they don't know what they're looking for. So they have no confidence in what they're doing. And then what do? They hold their losers too long because they don't know what they're doing. So that's it. I mean, they hit the nail on the head right there, guys.
Yeah, the easiest way to get wrecked is to try to be the hero, right? Be the hero after you work the trades. Don't worry about being the hero right now, guys. Can't let one trade make or break us.
Oh, come on. Little Enrique Iglesias, you want to be my hero.
No heroes here, baby. Heroes
That
are
was
zeros,
we
guys.
don't need to worry about being copyright claimed with that one. That one was so bad, so far off. No,
Josh can lead the trade the pool orchestra team.
We're gonna have a horrible karaoke night when you come over to Orlando.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. Yeah, this is gonna be great. You can be my hero, baby. Everyone's just gonna be like, this guy can't sing. This is great. He's so drunk, he don't even know what he's doing. Yeah, throw him on a different song. This guy's great entertainment. Y'all are just we're gonna have some fun in Orlando. I promise you that.
Let's go, METC. Let's get this going. Let's get the black coal going here. Black gold, coal, baby. Santa's coming soon, and Santa needs some coal for all these bad kids out there and bad traders. So
I know 2 of them.
they might need some coal in their sack today. Let's see if this gets going. What I love about ETC, when it does rip, it rips. Right? Another stock that trends when it works, when patterns tend to work on its trade. Those are going to be vehicles that I always keep in mind, right? Because just the patterns work, right? And that's what I look for. If you guys remember, and you could rewind it, early on when METC was up there at 2150, I said, come back to 21. Come back. I'll come after you. We'll see what happens here. CWeb also holding on there. I did hold a little bit of risk there underneath the 46, but looking to see if China wants to do a little takeoff here. That would definitely stop me out on the VIX trade, but that's how you got to be sometimes, right? You got to be aligned on multiple sides here, right? I'm willing to take a swing on the VIX, small size, let that work, but I'm also taking longs here and having exposure if we start to rip. Got to be on both sides sometimes. One account is probably going to do better than the other.
And that's the thing too. I used to do that with, which is very risky to do, but I was actually pretty good at it again, back to trends, but doing with earnings. I traders try to trade earnings, and I'm like, that's really hard to do. That's tough. But yes, throughout your trading career, like when you're looking at certain day trades and then you have certain swing trades, they're going to sometimes maybe go against one another. But again, it's all about the chart. Like you just go back to the chart, read the chart there, you trade the chart that's right there in front of you. You don't have to. And then you like you said, you may stop yourself out, but it's all about being green in the end about, certain trades. You're going to have red trades. That's just going to be a part of stock trading. You got to, and I remember this guy named Alex Vaughn. I used to love Alex Vaughn. Still, he's still good friends with him. But anywho, I remember him saying in chat back in the day, and then now he's kind of gone off. He still trades, but we're still good friends. I forgot what he does. He's a smart guy. He's got a good day job is my point. But he would always say, guys, you got to get used to seeing red. And I'm like, that is a good saying. You got it. And it's hard for traders to understand that they're not going to be a perfect.
Especially the mean reversion trades.
Yeah.
You start those red. I mean, so I love that. You got to be comfortable in the red, but continue. Sorry.
I think also, I don't know how you guys feel about multiple entries, but I think that's also one of the biggest problems of penny stock traders is that they put all their money in one entry spot.
Yep.
I personally think in penny stocks, that's not the way to go because you get these quick whips, right? Where you do get in and it's a good entry, but the stock still goes down 20 cents from that. If you ladder there and you put a ladder there in between, you're going to have a better average.
That is a deep conversation to have, the scaling. Yeah. But just because I love the power of scaling, but I've seen days where it's like you have that one loser that you scaled and you have 10 winners and you're break even on the day.
Yeah. It's tough, man.
It's a tough,
It's a back and forth. I think it's also about learning about what you're trying to accomplish, right? Are you trying to just take base hits or also take doubles and triples, right? So, of course, we're not all just going to say that home runs are the way to go because we all could say that that's not the way to go. But what you want to do is shoot for singles and end up with doubles and triples. That's how the major leaguers do it. And I think that's the best way to do it, right? Shoot for hitting the ball hard, trying to get a single, but then the next thing you know, you land on doubles and triples, right? This is part of the conversation that we talked about yesterday.
That's the beauty of a trailing stop, right? Is that you don't want to... That's why I don't like profit targets, and I generally don't try to use them very often, is that you want to give that rare occasion of let's let this thing go as long as it wants to go, right? And
Hey,
But I
leave it
will
up to
say
you.
one thing, guys. Unfortunately, it's that time. The show can't go on forever. Unfortunately, it's how it happens, especially with us four. We could talk all day long.
all
but-
day. We got a minute each.
All right, guys. It's 11:03. We're wrapping up. I'm getting out of here, guys. Had a decent day on the day trading game, up about 74 with a couple other trades in the green. Still taking the trade out there, looking around to see what will happen if we get a little bit of a shake. It seems like today's that chop ahead of Jerome Powell, the big bad wolf. Will he blow the houses down? Or will he spark the rally? I think that's what we all will be watching tomorrow. Of course, I hope your house is not made out of straw and you have that brick house, but we will see what happens out there. Any wrap up from you, Kevin, in the small cap?
Oh, always a wrap up. Yeah, I completely agree with what Michael said. Be rigid with the rules, flexible with the profit expectations. Allow some of your winners trail a piece. Yesterday, I had NCT at $3.50. The thing faded to $1.50, and I took it all at like $3. So I'm like, okay, I'm trailing, I'm forgetting, going to a coma, setting it and forgetting it. So I completely agree with that. Additionally, something he said was having zero expectations per trade. That is a trader maturity right there. I love that. Douglas talked about that a lot. When you get into a trade, have zero expectations. I don't know what's going to happen. There's edge here, but if you can eliminate the expectations, which are what? A visual representation of what you think is going to happen on this chart. Eliminate that, eliminate ego, and you'll see it's going to have profound implications on your bottom line performance.
Wrap up, Josh. Any one stock you're going to be watching towards the end of the day?
I'll just bring this up. PTIX is running technically sound. You know, I love that word and that verbiage. It's running old resistance equals new support. Old support earlier was new resistance is what we're getting now. So old support's new resistance. Watch under 4.5 to crack down. Once we crack 4.5, watch for that to be resistance. That's what I love for trades. Technical sound setups, baby.
Smash the like, and we'll wrap up with the man himself, Michael Noss. What do you see out there, and what could you tell traders to watch out for?
The unwind, the great unwind, I'm calling it now, right? The guys who are way too long or way too short for way too long are getting clapped, and they're buying the small caps, they're buying the SPY, and they have to unwind their large cap tech against it. So again, we'll tell you on Monday. Make sure you're here on Monday where that commitment of traders data is and how much that's happened. I don't think it's going to be enough. So I think we could see this for another week.
Oh, real quickly,
what happens.
college football starts up this Saturday, baby. I love football season. I know here in the States we love some football. Oh, baby, have a great weekend, gentlemen. I keep forgetting I won't see you guys. You aren't live tomorrow, of course, as well. Have a great weekend. I love you guys, and of course, everyone that joined today.
I'll tell you what, it is in college, but I'm going to open up a fantasy football league for Trade the Pool. So I will be reaching out to you boys if you guys want to be included, and anybody in the chat. All Discord members, we're going to be able to give, I think, probably about 8 slots still available there. So if you're interested, look for that. We'll talk more on the Discord. We'll also bring it to the stream. But I just want to do something for fun for all the community out there. And we'll look to see what maybe entrance prize we can do. Maybe it's just $10 or $20, something small, but at least to make it fun and make it worthwhile. We'll see you guys over there. Smash a like. I hope you guys enjoyed. And did you check out the Trading Bot event? If you didn't, you're missing out. We'll see you next time right here on Trade the Pool. Keep pushing on and